and other members across the country. Good evening to each and everyone. I'm happy to welcome you all for the seminar on bank audit using Excel, conducting by Vijayawada branch of SASF ICI. Before taking the proceedings, I request all the members to raise for the motto song and not required to stand, sir, and put your right hand at your heart. Thank you, sir. I request our branch chairman, C.A.K. Punachandra garu, give his opening remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Narendra. Today's resource person and technical expert on Excel, C.A. Saran Kumar sir, my colleagues at management committee, members across the profession, good evening to one and all. At the outset, I welcome you all for today's virtual CB seminar on bank audit using Excel. Actually, we have conducted two seminars on 15th and 17th of this month, which is an annual flagship program of the branch conducting bank branch audit. But that is related to the, it's a normal new changes on LFAR, changes in LFAR and audit through CBS environment and on RBI circulars. But this session is more of a like practical approach, which Saran sir is going to discuss with you all. Because bank audit is one thing where we do stock audit, we do revenue audit, we do content audit, we do internal audit, and we do etc. and many more audits. But as a statutory auditor, we do have less time at the branch. Within the given time, as a statutory auditor of the bank branch audit, we will be in a position to assess which file to which file to ask and which file to probe or which file to go through the entire documents or which set of data. So to find out that data, actually you need to be expert in Excel, which Saran sir is going to walk us through today. And of late, as we see, data analytics are finding the data, which set of data to select as a sample for the audit to be done at the branch is going to be much more important. And people with skills, people like Saran Kumar sir with skills, they're going to be more important going ahead in the in the coming era. Pretty much it must say AI. People are talking about AI and artificial intelligence, bank audits in the digital area. So technical expertise is one where we as professionals we must concentrate on that also. So sir is going to quickly walk us through this, and I'm sure it will be a fruitful session for all of you. So I request all the members to be keen and to listen to Saran sir and make the most use of the session. Thank you. Over to you, Narendra.
Thank you, sir. I feel it's a great privilege to introduce our today's resource person, C.A. Saran Kumar garu. Actually, his name is Saran Kumar, but he is the perfect and complete Excel man. He is well known to total SIRC.
Yes.
All branches are visited in this audit time. Is thrown his knowledge to all the members of the fraternity at SIRC level and all the branches in the Excel era. And His brief introduction. He is qualified as a chartered accountant in the year of 2010 and completed his diploma in information systems audit from ICI and FAFD and concurrent audit from the ICI. He has worked with the Microsoft and Credit Suisse Bank for more than 4 years. Presently, his specialization includes statutory audits, internal audits, forensic, transaction audits, and IBC. Automation of financial process data analytics, including reconciliations, extra. Having overall more than 10 years of experience in handling data analytics tools like MS Excel, IDEA, Power Query, extra. He has been the regular faculty for the FAFD certification course conducted by the ICI. I am also one of the students at the FAFD with a certain sir student.
Even
Okay,
I'm even
and
I too.
my chairman also, sir. And he has been the guest speaker for the seminars being conducted by the ICA and other institutions like TMEI and NASN Extra on the topics of data analytics with MX Excel, audit onto CBS environment, Excel as an audit tool, Extra. With his brief introduction, I request Sajanji to take the session, and now it's yours platform, sir.
Sir, thank you so much for the great introduction, sir. First of all, let me congratulate the new managing committee, a
Thank you,
most
sir.
vibrant young committee. Happy to see. In fact, Vijayawada branch is one of the very dynamic, not just earlier, Vijayawada branch is known to only at SARC level. Wherever I go, very recently I have been at Ahmedabad for a conference as a speaker. So there also people are talking about, sir, one branch is there regularly conducting session. Whatever we search in the YouTube with ICI name, they are the people coming on the top, sir. Now we are not now competing with ICI TV, but we would like to compete with at least Vijayawada branch. Our next goal is by at least next year, we want to go into the first on the YouTube. I said that is also not possible for you, sir, because this year much more dynamic people are there. So they'll only continue the legacy. So
Thank you, sir. Thank you for it.
yeah, in fact, Vijayawada is like my another home branch. Okay, though I'm from Hyderabad, along with my Hyderabad branch, I always consider Vijayawada as my another home branch because I studied and learned many things there. A lot of people known to me. Thank you so much for the invitation. Whatever the little knowledge I have, I'm going to share with you. Just give me some little disconnection. Just give me another 1 minute, sir.
Yeah. Actually, myself and Secretary Narendra, we are students of Saran sir. Under the we have completed our FAFD course, sir. Actually.
Sir, sorry for the little disconnection, sir.
No issue, sir.
Yeah. So let me pass on all the credits, whatever the chairman sir or Narendra sir told about me. In fact, I pass on the credits to Microsoft Excel. The entire credit I got because I'm using a great tool by the Microsoft. So let me directly jump into the session. Friends, in today's session, I'm going to talk more about Excel related. I'm sure by this time you might have attended any number of seminars on the bank audit. My point is whatever the little known MS Excel, which I know, how these all techniques can be used in effective bank audit. So considering the same, I'm going to work on with many files. In fact, I have already shared the Dropbox link into the chat box. I think Ramesh Garu or anyone from the Vijayawada branch can download from the same link. In fact, all participants can click the link. Why I shared this link is if I do any update to this any of the file, everything will be stored. Even after the session, you click the same link, all the files will be there, including my working files, which I'm going to demonstrate for next 2.5 hours to 3 hours. So with this, let me start the session. The today's session roadmap is getting ready for the bank audit. I'm sure you all ready. In fact, for the last 20 days, many are waiting maybe for the appointment letters. What is the new in the new LFAR? I'm sure many people might have spoken very elaborately into the new LFAR. I just gonna give you a little introduction to that. with respect to the analytics point of view. I'm not going to take you much in depth into that, but with respect to the system related, maybe analytical related, what is important. Then we'll go into the core banking solution introduction. Then we'll see the different CBS and how the menu list is. In fact, in one of the folder, I kept all the FlexiCube and Banks 24 and Finacle menu keys. Friends, let me tell you all, whatever I'm going to show you, gonna be only the screenshots. So obviously, because I don't have any CBS in my computer, so I can't demonstrate directly taking you inside into the CBS and getting the reports. I know it is little difficult you to understand at a in-depth level, but the problem is we don't have any, even at ICI level. They tried many times to have at least a prototype of the CBS so that people can use it. Except the bank, no one is having even a prototype of it. So friends, just give me 1 minute. I'm getting little disconnection from my end. Just give me 1 minute. Sir, sorry, sir. Little disconnection. Yeah, because it is leaving time, so employees are just coming and telling why. So okay, so
no issue, sir. Go ahead. We understand.
Yeah. So the CBS, different CBS screenshots, at least we can have a glance. So that is what I'm going to demonstrate a little bit. Then the core area, which my focus for the today's session is, when there is an unstructured data, how can you convert into the structured data, and how to get more inferences out of the data, because you will be having a stratification. Once you do the stratification, you as an auditor can observe many things out of it. So how can you get it? So NPA identification from the structured data. Then we'll see one case study where we'll take the ledger account and how to analyze the ledger account. Then along with this entire process, how to create the documentation. That's nothing but the working papers. That is most important. And also reporting. So let me start. First is first. This is a very common slide. If you attended my earlier sessions, you might have found the same. I feel still there is a relevance me to keep this slide. This is what 90% of the chartered accountants mindset, including me. Whenever I say including me, that includes I am also part of it. So 90% of the mindset of the chartered accountants is we compare a lot of information, right, before going into the bank audit, considering we must have we want to do the best audit. Then we attend so many seminars. I'm sure you also might have attended at least one seminar before my session. Then we step into the bank to do the best audit in this year. I don't know what happened. Once we step into the bank, again we fall into the same trap of the branch managers. They tell 100 stories. They give us a situations, a practical, okay, ground reality. We suddenly stop looking into the guidance notes, stop looking into the IRAC norms. Immediately we started looking into the problems of the other person. So let me tell you, we are auditors. We should not look into the ground reality, because we have rules which are framed. Because many a times what they say, sir, this account anyway they are going to pay in next 2 months or 3 months. Then immediately we started looking into, anyway this fellow may pay in next 2 to 3 months. Okay, let me leave it. So let me tell you that is the reason, because we left many things earlier. Now RBI is looking for many things. But on the signing day, suddenly one day, maybe once we work for 4 days and 5th day, suddenly it comes on the signature date. Again, we feel, okay, this year I have not done best audit. At least next year I want to do the audit. So this cycle continues every year. My point is, at least at some point of time, we should break this cycle. That means we should go with the mindset of, I want to do the best audit this time, and we should stick to the same, and we should come out with the same satisfaction. We should not postpone to the next year. So let us all, I wish we are all going to do the best audit this year. I always like this slide. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I did spend first 4 hours in sharpening the axe. Abraham Lincoln. Why this is important? Because many a times, many firms do the work once they step into the branch. But if you ask me as an auditor, what I say, the first day of the branch audit start from the day once you confirm the appointment letter. Once you get the confirmation, once you are given the confirmation, immediately next day onwards you can start working on the same. That means you can ask questions, you can get the information. At least you will be having 4 to 5 days minimum from the appointment letter date to the branch visit date. These 6 days are very crucial for us. If you ask me, 80% of the work I'm sure you can do before going into the bank. Okay. Is audio okay? I think I'm getting there is a lag with audio. Can someone please confirm? Is it too distracting or is it manageable?
Okay, sir, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah. So let us all 80% of homework, and once we go to the branch, I wish we need to only do 20% of the work. So let us go a little ahead on the slides. This is what the CBS overall at the higher level, if I want to explain, the CBS is having 3 parts: application server, database server, and the reporting server. Application server is basically something, the front end, where operating staff use this. As a user, once you log in into the net banking, you use it. And application server has many facets. Okay, a lot of people use. So whenever you visit a cashier, he may be opened one CBS screen on the system. He key in some information into the system. Okay, so the data will go and sit somewhere. What is that somewhere? That is a database server. So front end is application server. Back end data gets stored into the database server. Every damn data what they enter into the system will go and sit somewhere. That means there is a record. That means there is a log at the back end. But are you going to get the access to the database server? If you ask me, I say no. You will not be having any access to the database server. Not only we as a chartered accountants, auditors, even the branch managers, AGM, even at GM level, they will not have an access. Only the database administrators may have an access to the database server because it is having the core data at the backend. You may be, finding so many forensic related news that at the backend in the server they might have erased. So at the backend, in the sense, it's not somewhere in the reporting server or application server. Wherever the source, the data going and sitting, that is what the database server. So the database server, we don't have an access. But how you are going to get the data if you don't have an access to the database server? We get the data from the reporting server, because not only just for chartered accountants or auditors, they make the reports at the backend. They create the reports for many things. For regulators like RBI, because they may need to send every week one report to RBI, or fortnight, or monthly, or quarterly, or yearly. For that reporting, they automate and keep it into the report format. So they keep reports, they design reports at the backend for the management to take better decisions. And also some of the reports are exclusively for the auditors to verify. Okay, so at the reporting server, basically, again, there are 3 types of reports are there: meant for the regulators, meant for the management, meant for the auditors. Some of the reports where we can even go into management reports and get the information and so on. How to get the data, that is what important. That is from the reporting server. But how reporting server looks like, it is from CBS to CBS. If you look here, there are basically major CBS I'm covering, not going into the very minor CBS. If you take all the banks, 95% of the banks use Banks 24, Finacle, and Flexicure. Banks 24 by Central Bank and SBI Group and small other banks. Finacle by Andhra Bank. Okay, so Andhra Bank now merged with the United Bank. and a lot of other FlexiQ by Canara Bank and their associate companies. So I'm going to just look into these three different type of screens, how it looks like. In the banks 24, first let me divide this into the screens, how it looks like, then how to get the data. If you get the data, in what format the data will come into. The first thing is reporting server. In banks 24, how it looks like, they have internal network. The internal network is like, in your office, when you click a server, there may be so many folders inside, right? In the same way, once they click the IP address, then all the folders in the zip format will appear. Then they'll go into their branch code. Even if they want to access to the other branch code, that is not accessible for them, because only their branch code they can access. Once they click the branch code, again, n number of zip folders are there. Those all are the reports. From those reports only, we'll find loan balance file, we'll find CCDP file, we'll find CCOD file, we'll find the NPA statement, we'll find all the SA reports as a CCDP file, then we'll find all the exception reports and so on. So in SBI environment, you can directly go to a folder, pick up whatever the related files, and you can get into your system and you can start working. I know once I cover this point, immediately people started saying, Sharon, how to get the data from the branch manager into our system? Many banks are not supporting sharing the information. Honestly, let me tell you, even I don't have an answer for your question, because no standard, no regulator told that this is the way you need to get the information. Getting the information from the branch is pure an art than a science. Okay, how you convince, how you deal with him after the appointment letter, there are many concepts are part of it. I'm not going into that. But let me tell you another fact that I am doing the bank audit for the last many years. Every year I have taken the information from the branch managers. Okay, I'm also like you, one of the auditor. But how we convince them? Okay, I tell a fact that I call the branch manager. I tell them that we request you to provide the data soft format. Obviously, he say that, sir, we don't have an order to provide you. I need to check with my management. Then he'll come back and say the same. Then I say that, sir, if you send the information, maybe I can work 3-4 days at home only. Then I'll be only staying maximum 1 or 2 days at your branch. If you don't send the information, then I need to spend at least 7 to 10 days. Branch manager may think really that, okay, we are going to stay only for 1 or 2 days. He shares the entire information. Then once you get the entire information, to ask and get the answers for the questions what you'll be having, you can spend the time. Okay, so that is what the method I always follow. I tell them a lie that I'll be staying only for 1 or 2 days maximum if you send the information, because I'll be doing this entire work at my office or home only. So Finacle, FlexiCube, will see how the shortcuts are. Let me, I kept all, I try to put all together into, I think, are you getting my screen of entire one? Yeah, I think you can see the working files now. Finacle commands, if you can observe here, this is this is in the public domain. Okay, many WhatsApp groups where this file is just going everywhere. And also very recently, one chartered accountant is sharing 51 important Finacle codes and so on. But I found this file where you are having every Finacle code, right? Useful Finacle menus. You just go here, very beautifully, they started explaining about what is a Finacle code and what is the name of the code and what is the description of the code. All important. But Sharon, almost like 100 plus Finacle codes are there. Am I going to use all 100? Not required. Maybe once you get this information, right, after my session tomorrow, once you have a free time, then you just start searching with loan balance, something like that. Then check it out. Is there any Finacle menu you can find with the loans? Then once you just start looking into that, note down all the loans related. Then note down all the CC related. Then note down all the exceptions report related. Maybe you will get a data for 15-20 reports maximum. Then immediately once you go to a branch, then you can start asking how to get the report. In this file, why I'm just referring this file, because this is basically a staff college file. Okay, I think someone has sent this file outside, so now it is part with everyone. In this file, even the screens also they have given. If you observe here, let me just go and little show you. Yeah, This is what basically the Finacle user interface looks to you, look like. Then if you observe here, this is the core server. Okay, then you need to give the menu shortcut here. If you observe here, whatever I highlighted here, this is the place where you're going to write the menu key. Once you click go, the respective fields out of that menu key, it's going to ask you. Once you put that information and submit, then basically it's going to give you two reports. The menu generates two files, one in report form, the other one is in the list form, which can be imported into Excel. Let me tell you another important caution. 90% of the cases, whatever the system they allocate as may not be having a user access to this downloading. So maybe if you go to a lowest level accounting staff, maybe their access controls are very limited. You can't go to the so much of detailed information inside. So my suggestion, you better get whatever the access the branch manager is having. Okay, otherwise you request for the audit access. Getting a request for the audit access is most important. That maybe even help us to make as a working notes. Tomorrow they may suddenly say that how you verified this. You can't tell that I have verified by visiting this person system and so on. So it's always good to have an access as an auditor. If not, at least you take the branch manager access, so that with the access controls you may be having better access to download and so on. Once you download the report, that comes every time in the Finacle in the text format. Okay, once you get into the text format, in our demonstration you'll be seeing how to convert into the text into different columns, how to clean up the data and so on. Here you can just see they also kept up very beautifully in different screens the text to column and so on. Okay, you can just go through this file where you can see how the screens are, because the most important thing is once you go to the branch, once you look into the screens, you should not feel that, okay, you should not feel that these screens are new to you. Okay, at least to have a familiarity with respect to the screens, I request you to go through into the same. This is with respect to the Finacle related commands and screens. If you ask me about the FlexiCube mini codes, these all are the FlexiCube mini codes. In fact, if you ask me to put any loan related, these all are loan related. Now you can see what you want. I think this is the file you're going to request them LN167, where it's having loan statement other than the CC account. Maybe you're going to ask them the customer account balances other than both standards and NPAs. So maybe some of the, if you look here, account statements are there, overdraft report you have, CCDP you have, you take it out. There are so many things you can get it. This is the fresh NPA report and so on. Here also you are having almost like 38 commands. Just before going into the bank, you little have a familiarity with the codes. Maybe you can carry the same. Now, when it comes to the NPA, when it comes to the SBI, why I kept this file? Because this file I kept with an intention. If you start reading the internal document of SBI, you will get to know the procedure, what they are following to make something as an NPA. Sir, I think why is I don't know, audio is not clear. That's what many people are saying.
No, sir. Audio, sir, we find it clear, sir. Audio.
Okay.
Hello.
Sir, I request members, whoever are having an audio issue, please look into your volume settings.
I request all the members to look at your own this thing, sir. We find it is okay. Yeah, someone is they are replying, sir. Audio is fine.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
They have to clear at their end, sir. Actually.
In fact, I just increased my voice when I started looking into your these people messages. I increased my voice also.
Yeah. We can see, sir, number of our members are responding that audio is clear.
Great. Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Right, in this file, if you start reading, leave about for the audit sake. Okay, I'm not asking you or requesting you to read for the audit purpose. Once you start reading this document, as a chartered accountant, your knowledge will be little matured with compared to the earlier one, how a process happened with respect to the NPA related recognition. They explain very in detail. It's not just one-page document. It is almost like 50-page document. In fact, my knowledge also got improved after started reading this. Now, this is the way how banks 24 software screens looks like. You can just start looking into this. They explain very beautifully how NPA process end-to-end happen. Okay, in fact, this file also I already kept over there. You can just start looking into the menu codes they have explained at different places. Then you can see it. Okay, so this is one file which I just want your attention. Whenever you have a free time, just start looking into the same. Okay, though my session is not more of CBS related and more of Excel, but why I'm telling this, because at the end of the day, you need to get the data from the CBS. If they don't provide, you must go and download the data. If you find something, you need to go into the system and verify. So let us at least have a little comfort before going into the session, before going into the audit. Okay, so this is about 3 CBS. Now let's come to what is the new with the new LFARs. If you look into the new long form audit report, let me open it. I request you to download the new LFAR from the RBI, because many a times you find the forwarded opinions or maybe forwarded edited ones that may be required. There is no doubt, but I request you to seriously download this, because once you start downloading from the RBI, you will get to know many things. Let me tell you, first part is basically for the central statutory auditors. Then the second part is about for the branch auditors. If you check it out here, LFAR to the management and the statutory central auditors of the bank by the branch auditors in case of bank branches. From this title itself, you will get to know the LFAR is meant for the management as well as for the statutory central auditors. Many a times when we do the audit, we skip that point. We think we are reporting and the report will go to RBI or management and so on. This is not like a regular statutory audit you do for the private companies. If you do private company audit to give the report to the management and to the regulator, maybe if it is MCA or whatever, the income tax department. But in this case, your scope is restricted, limited to the management report and statutory central auditors. That means whatever we focus, we always need to focus what we need to report to the management and what we need to give to the central statutory auditors. Why you should give to the central statutory auditors? Because they are the people for every bank, at least based on the bank size, 5 to 15 central statutory auditors they appoint. They are appointed by the RBI throughout India, right? Based on the different regions. All these people together compile the information, make the report, and finally they are the people who are going to give the opinion on the bank in the final results. Okay, the annual return of the bank, if you take any of the annual return, they are the people who are going to sign. They are the people who are going to tell what is their opinion. So whatever the report you did, your report may not go into the RBI. Central statutory auditors are the mediators who can carry our information to the management and to the RBI. Okay, this is a very clear point you must understand. But what type of information we should tell to the central statutory auditors? To know that, you need to understand the scope of the central statutory auditors. They are not expected to go into the account wise. These all are the things RBI started telling what they need to give. So let me tell you, it's more of internal control related and other information with respect to the central statutory auditors. Without taking much of the time, another maybe 1 or 2 minutes, I'll just talk about this, then we'll go into the Excel. Guiding principles on objective, strategy, scope, and coverage of LFAR for bank branch auditors. I request you to read these all 3 to 4 paragraphs at least 10 times so that you will get to know what exactly you need to do. If you look here, the overall objective of the bank audit should be to have transaction testing. First thing is for the transaction testing. Second thing is to provide the inputs to the central statutory auditors. Our scope is only 2. Don't think too much as a branch statutory auditors on what you are going to report to the central statutory auditors about the adequacy of implementation of various policy and regulatory requirements. That may include obviously the system efficacy or any assurance function at the branch level. When it comes to the threshold limit, above the threshold limit, you need to do the transaction testing. They have used one important word this time in the LFAR is transaction testing and transaction audit. That means RBI is very much clear with respect to the scope, that auditors just not to go in whatever the method they want. We are fixing the threshold limit. They need to filter this threshold limit. They should take all those accounts out. They must need to do the transaction audit. Transaction audit looks like a very small word, but having lot of scope. Let me go to the LFAR advances. In that, let us start looking into this. The answers to the following questions may be based on auditor's examination of all large advances. This is the threshold limit. What do you mean by the large advance? For this purpose, large advances are those in respect of which outstanding amount. Here you need to understand outstanding amount includes funded as well as not funded. Okay, so you should not you should not have any confusion that you should not take into the non-funded. That is also part of the outstanding. Is in excess of 10% of the outstanding aggregate balance of fund based or non-fund based, or 10 crores, whichever is less. Very simple. If so, then what is the care they need to take it? This sentence is also very important. For all those accounts above the threshold, the transaction audit are the account specific details to be seen and commented, where below threshold, the process needs to be checked and commented upon. Very much clear this time the RBI that Mr. Sharon, if you are doing the audit, I will tell you the scope. Wait, you do the threshold, above the threshold, don't take any excuse. You need to do the end-to-end audit. Starting the entire life cycle of the credit, starting from the sanction till as on date balance of 31st March 2021. That is your responsibility, right? When it comes to the below, obviously, below threshold, you may be having thousands of accounts. They do understand your point. They said, Sharon, you go and do the test checking based on so many parameters, and you tell us to the management as well as central statutory auditors, is there any process related comments you want to give? Is there any data integrity related comments you want to give? And so on. So that is what the expectation from the RBI. So the first one itself is how to calculate the LFAR related threshold. Now, just to demonstrate, I've just taken one important file here. You can just go to the Vijayawada branch, and there's a file large advances. Okay, this is what loans and CCOD. Let us assume for the time being that we don't have any non-funded. So I'll be just taking here the loans total. Let's have the particulars. Friends, whenever I start talking about the Excel, along with the workings, the working papers also will get ready. So you also must need to concentrate on the same. So total advance, total loans. So this is what the loans equal to sum. Let's go to the loans. So you need to identify where is the balance outstanding, select this entire column, enter. So this is what the loans total you have. So obviously it's a so it's a negative value. So to overcome that, you can start with the minus symbol so that there will not be any confusion. When it comes to the CCOD equal to minus sum, let me go to the CCOD. Just go to the outstanding. Is there anywhere the outstanding is there? I think yes. So let's go to, yeah, this is the column outstanding. Close bracket and enter. Right? I want to have the same form. Let's have the total. Just put this total of that. Now, friends, I would like to have the LFAR threshold. What is the large advance size? Okay. So what is the formula? They said minimum of 10% of this value or 10 crore, whichever is lower. That's the reason I have used a function called min. For example, if 10% of this is only 1 crore, then 1 crore may become the minimum. In this case, 167 crore branch is this. So that's the reason it is 10 crore. Okay. Now how to extract those items here in Excel? If you know the filters, if you know the pivot table, if you know the if function, 80% of the Excel related audit will over. Okay. Filters, if possible, text to column. In fact, text to column is also most important. Filters, text to column, pivot table, and if function. Okay, majority of the work you can do with Excel. So now what I'll be doing, I'll just go here. I'll go to the outstanding. Let me take the outstanding less than minus 10 crore. Nothing is there. No item is less than 10 crore. Sorry, greater. Greater than or equal to 10 crore. Because it's a minus, that's the reason I said less than. Don't confuse with the wording because these all are minus figures. So let's go to the number filters. I'm just going to have less than minus 10 crore. Enter. There are two items. Let me copy this. Let me go here. Now you can simply paste special values, or else you can just simply enter, as simple as it. Now let me autofit. You can just make this as okay, annexure. Let me put on top of it annexure 1. So now for all these accounts, we need to do the transaction audit. So transaction audit accounts. What you're going to do this, you're going to allocate these accounts to your staff. Let's say, let me allocate this to Saranya. Let me allocate this one to Saran. Okay, 2 staff are there. Based on that, I can just arrange these 2. Now you can just change this as an annexure. Why I'm very much particular you to write the headings and so on. Don't make your working paper so vague, because these all are the ones which gonna be the audit trial later. Tomorrow, if any regulator comes to you, this is the process you need to explain it to them. Otherwise, they think that you are not done the audit. So whether I have done the audit or not, in our case, the only evidence is nothing but the working papers. How beautifully you maintain the working papers, that gives the very much positive vibration to the regulator. Even something wrong in that year, in that branch, they may always think that, okay, Sharon probably might have spent full time and did a nice process with respect to the sampling and everything, but still he could not look into this because of the sampling. But when you don't have all these things, even your intention is good, but if any account became a fraud in that year, if regulator calls you, if you say that just sampling, they may not listen. They'll immediately ask you, what is the methodology you followed for the sampling? Get me your working papers. That's the reason working papers are the most important, be it for peer review, be it for any other regulator related questions. This is what the very first thing, once you go to the branch, after you get the advances file, you're going to do. And there are at many instances, you're going to do the stratification related. So let me go here. There is one question. This is actually asked in the new LFAR. This question was not part of the old LFAR. Friends, once you get all those accounts you examined, you need to put in this box, and the percentage of the sample you need to put here. But friends, this is it looks like a very small box, but very powerful box. For the chartered accountants, this box create a lot of mess later. Why? I'll tell you. If you keep, just to make your sample size big, if you observe here, percentage examined you need to give it here. To make it bigger, if you put so many accounts here, that means you are conforming to the regulator and the management that you have done the audit of all these accounts. That means you are taking the responsibility of those accounts. Tomorrow you can't escape saying that this is not part of my sample. If maybe you ask me a question, the objective of this entire one is because they might have got so many inquiries earlier, and the answers from the auditors might be, sir, that is not part of my sample. That account I did not examine. All other remaining accounts I examined. That may be the answer. That's the reason this time they are very much specific. Once you keep the account in this table, you can't say no later, because you yourself are going to sign and keep the report. So you must be very careful before taking the responsibility of any of the accounts here. Okay, so let us start looking into the other points here. When it comes to the credit appraisal and so on, you have one question. Have you come across cases of quick mortality in accounts where the facility became non-performing within a period of 12 months from the date of first sanction? Details of those accounts to be provided. Maybe the intention of RBI is that if any account became NPA within 12 months, if you ask me, that's not the problem with the borrower, that may be the problem with the credit department. Because if an account became sick within 6 months, that means maybe, okay, 90% of the cases, there is a lot of weakness with respect to the credit department. Maybe an account got sick after 10 to 15 years, that means okay, because of maybe other circumstantial, real, any operational related issues were there, because that account is very clean for 10 years and so on. But when it comes to an account which became NPA within 6 months, that means there is a lot of weakness in the credit department. Maybe as an overall management or the RBI would like to know how much of weakness is there with respect to the branches. They may have a consolidated figure. So for that, they are asking this report. So how you are going to put these accounts? Friends, this you can't escape. They are not just asking a question yes or no. Maybe in the old LFAR, we used to give yes or no. But in this case, it's not yes or no. You need to put all the account numbers, account name, and balance at the year end. So how we are going to make this? This is going to be very simple. In fact, in very one of the recent video which I have released about the quick mortality, I have explained this in detail. Now let me take this. Okay, let me remove this. Let me even remove this. Okay, friends, this is basically the performing and non-performing assets as on 31st March 2021. You'll be having all the columns like this. So let me have one more column called difference, because I'm going to calculate the difference. Let me filter out the PA, because I don't want to work for the performing assets. When it comes to the non-performing assets, okay, you will be having the sanction date and you are having the NPA date. If you observe here very carefully, where the facility became non-performing within a period of 12 months, they did not say 365 days. 12 months. You must be very careful. Wordings are very important. From the date of first sanction. Okay. So within the period of 12 months, that means excess are exactly 12 months is not part of the range. Is not part of quick mortality. That's what they mean. So to overcome, to calculate the total completed months in Excel, we have a beautiful function called date diff. What this function does, you know, it's gonna give you the number of completed months between two dates. In this case, my start date is this, my end date is this, comma. If you observe this function, there's a little peculiar function in Excel. At the front end, it's not going to show you any screen tip or maybe syntax. But at the back end, this function is still active. Okay, so the syntax is start date, end date, and what do you want? I want the total months, completed months. So M in the double quotation is an indication of the completed months. Enter this. Now you can simply copy and paste. Now let me expand this filter for last column also, difference column. So let me filter out the PA. Now let me filter here less than, because they use the word within 12 months. So less than 12 I need to consider, right? So these are all of the accounts followed quick mortality, but you are reporting as on 31st March 2021. So within the year, which accounts became NPA, that is what you need to consider. So I don't want to consider 2019. I don't want to consider 2020 January. So these are all of the accounts became NPA within the year, which, okay, within the 12 months of sanction. So let me go here. Let me make it as an annexure 2. Annexure 2. Okay, you can maybe refer the LFAR point also. If it is 5B2, if I'm not wrong, then you can highlight this. Then you can just put it as an annexure 2 on quick mortality accounts. Quick mortality accounts. Okay, though they are not asking for the entire information, it's always good if you can maybe start taking it. I'm sorry, 1 second. Yeah, just go to this, copy this. You can just go here. You can just paste here. That's all. Okay, so let me copy this, and I want to have this here. Let's go here and paste here. 1 second again. Let me copy this and paste it so that the entire file will be there in one Excel. That's what my point is. Okay, this is annexure number 2, as simple as it. Let me save this file. So if you observe, while I do the work, my working papers and LFAR is also getting ready. Friends, this time the LFAR, if you ask me, okay, working papers are part of that. So you must need to provide in the same way. Now, let us look into the other related stratification, what you can do. Now, when it comes to the interest rate versus the account, why this point I kept here? Because let us start reading below one after other. Uh, yeah, immediately below that, there is a question whether in system, whether in borrower accounts, the applicable rate of interest is correctly fed into the system. Okay. Along with that, there is another question. Once you go down, maybe the question related is about the sanctioning authority. First, we'll answer this question, how to answer this question. Based on that, we can go into the next one. In this case, 90% of the cases, what we put, we say no. Or S, simple one word answer. So it is simply asking whether in borrower accounts, the applicable rate of rate is correctly fed into the system. That means they're expecting you to take some samples. From the samples, you need to allocate, out of all the samples, allocate to your staff, let them go to the system, check what is the rate of interest, let them open the file, look into the sanction rate, sanction letter, and is there any difference in the interest rate? If is there any change, is the same additional sanction letter being attached here as a supplementary copy? Then whether it is matching or not. Then if it is matching, they have to come back and put a comment in the remarks that yes, it got matched. But how to take the sample for this is the most important question. So let me go back to my file. What I'll be doing, let's say, let us consider this file. Okay, pivot table is one of the very important one. What I'll be doing, I'll just go to my insert tab, go to the insert, then click pivot table. Then once you click OK, you got the pivot table here. Have a look. Now, when I expand a little more, let me do little stratification with respect to the rate of interest. So out of all these fields, do you know where is the rate of interest? This is what my rate of interest. Let me take here. But what is the use of taking the rate of interest here? Okay, so I don't want rate of interest. If you observe to the file, GL code is the one, is nothing but the product code, right? That means every product, one product may be vehicle loan, the other product may be housing loan. In the vehicle loan, again, maybe different types are there and so on. So GL code is nothing but a product name in this case. If you look into any central bank or maybe State Bank of India, you will be having the product code, product name. Then you can take the product name. So let me take product wise, what is the interest? So let me take the GL code here. Now, what I'm going to do, I will take the rate of interest here in the values. But you may laugh at me when I just keep it into the values. You know why? When I immediately keep here, it is giving me the total of this product. Is there any meaning of summing all the interest rate? No. But I'm not interested on that part. I'm more interested on to know for this product, what is the minimum interest rate they charged. Okay. Let me take the same rate of interest and put here. Let me know what is the maximum interest rate they charged. Now, concentrate, friends, very important. This is minimum interest. This is maximum interest. Okay, so let me just take this Alt+C A. Let me have a difference column. But before going into the difference column, let us all identify. How many accounts are there for each particular product. So for which what I'm going to do, I'll go to the pivot table analyze. Let's go to the field list. I want to know for each product how many accounts are there. So let us identify where is the account number and just throw it before the values. It has given me the count of accounts. So let's have a count. Now, if you get little inferences out of the data, this is giving me a lot of story. What is the story it is saying? There is one product, maybe housing loan. There are 22 housing loans are there in the bank. Out of 22 housing loans, lowest housing loan rate of interest is 7.3, highest rate of interest is 11.5. See, if you take a sample as an auditor, highest, there is no meaning, because if loan interest rate, if branch manager intentionally keep it highest, I don't think so any customer will keep him alive, because customers are the one who will check it out every time, come back and ask the question and so on. If bank manager really want to do a benefit to the customer, he will go to the back end, fed into the system the lowest rate of interest. So if you ask me as an auditor, I take the sample out of this 7.3. So I'll take, because out of 22 accounts, let me take 2 to 3 accounts. So let me take 3 accounts in this. Before this, let me have a difference to know the spread. So let me have a difference column so that we'll know the spread for one product. Let me just copy and paste below. That means there is a spread between the minimum and maximum is 4.2. Let's have the 3 sample. In this case, 2.45, 30 accounts are there. Let's take 2 as a sample. In this case, 4 accounts are there. Almost 4 accounts having the same interest rate. You can ignore, or maybe you can keep 1. In this case, you may, because it's a very highest rate of interest. 14.45 for a customer, and for another customer it is 8.65. Let me take 2 samples. Maybe in this case 1 sample. In this case you can ignore, because in this case 9%. You may take more. Let's take 10 samples. Maybe 2. This is 1. This is maybe 2. This is maybe you can take 3 samples out of it. 2 samples. Okay, 2 samples, 1 sample, and finally you may take here 4 samples. Now you can just sum of all these samples. Don't worry, it looks like we have taken 34 samples, but I don't think so. It will take much time for the staff to look into all these 34 accounts. But if you go to a branch to do this entire job, for them it may be difficult, because they have not done the homework. So once they go to the branch to get this information, for them it's going to be very difficult. Once they start doing this work before going into the branch, you may even send an email to them to make sure that all these 34 sanction letters has to be taken out. What our staff does, they will take this account, they'll go into the system of Finacle or FlexiCube or Banks 24, whatever the case may be. Then they'll start looking into the interest table. Is there any mismatch between the sanction letter given to the customer and the interest rate? If so, then they are going to comment here, as simple as it. So even to take 3 accounts out of these 22, it's very simple. Just double click this, go to the rate of interest. You just filter this rate of interest. You go to the data. I want to filter from top to bottom, or else you can make it as a bottom to top. Then these all 3 are the bottom accounts. You can just copy this, Control C. Now you can make it as an annexure 3. As I said, your work has to go with the working papers. Your final report has to get ready. So let me paste here, and I'll just make it as a interest related sample. Then if you have 4 sample, you can just start keeping your staff name related sample. Friends, I'm sure many people maybe before the system, you may not have that much time to work parallelly with me, but the intention of sharing you the data in advance, because you can at least open the file, maybe you can note down the working steps, then you can just start looking into this. I'll just give you, because I can see many people maybe before the system, I'll just give you 1 to 2 minutes, then we can go into the next topic. Yeah, after 1 minute, then I'll start looking into the questions. Okay, just give me 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, let us start looking into the other aspect. This is one after other. We can just go ahead. Friends, pivot table is capable of not only giving a summary, but this is also giving you the drill down. That means once you double click this, I'll get all the 30 accounts separately in the screen. So you can just let me delete this, and this pivot table belongs to the annexure 3. So annexure 3 supporting, right? So by the end of the audit, once you start keeping like this, you can create tens of annexures with proper proof that whether they have done the audit or not, with proper remarks. Now, how they are going to do it, they'll just you will be keeping a staff name. Let's say Sharon is going to do this, and Harsha is going to do this, Mr. Bhairav is going to do this. Okay, I want to have the same format, so I'm just let me copy this, paste special. Okay, format. Now, let's say they identified something, remarks, whether it is okay or not okay. Let's say they kept it okay, and all three are okay. Let us assume that everything is fine. But what is the proof that whether it is okay, we verified? Okay, so the proof is very simple. These days, if you ask me, a phone is nothing but the biggest weapon we are having. Okay, so if you have a phone, you can do a lot of things out of it. And I'm sure all our staff may be having a smartphone. When they are verifying something into a system where that maybe, that not maybe, that must be part of our working paper, let them take a snap of it, because you can't take a screenshot and you can't ask branch manager to send across, right? And also you can't simply convince that you cannot simply just write okay here, because later after 5 years, if I get a call from the regulator about that particular account, maybe that account became a fraud, then they may ask about, have you verified this account with respect to the interest rate? Then I should at least convince them that, okay, boss, this is part of our sample and we look into this angle. In this case, it is fine. Okay, what is the proof? Those all images, what they are going to take, let them have proper folder, and they are going to keep with respect to all these working papers. But Sharon, how to keep the images into the Excel? That may be the biggest question. If that is the case, don't worry. Let me tell you a method. Go to the insert, then go to the text. Are you finding your object? Let's go to the object. Now create from the file, browse. Now what I'll be doing, I'll take, you can attach anything here as an object. That for that matter, you can attach a PDF file, you can attach image, do whatever you want. So what I'll be doing, let me take the Finacle commands or FlexiQ commands. Okay, so let me double click this. Now let me display this as an icon. Okay, let me click OK. Now let me just make it as a small icon. Now you can just put it as a supporting. Okay, supporting. So let me save this file. Let me close this without saving, it's not required. And if you open this, even if I send this file to you, you can also open this file. Just to verify the proof, you can just double click this. Once I double click, it got opened here with this. You don't believe, is it? Let me close this. Check it out. There are no PDF here. Let me just double click this. Okay, the PDF got open. It's not remembering my path. It is embed everything as an object. Even if I send this file to you, this will get open. Maybe if every file, if they can start keeping, our working papers look so beautiful. Okay, you can face peer review, you can face any review for that matter. Okay, because this is what at the end of the day they expect. Mr. Saran, this you are keeping this as a okay, based on what? Based on we went into the systems and we verified, but where is the proof? That proof is nothing but this. Okay, let me save this. Let me go a little further. In this way, you can have, okay, let me look into the LFAR. There is one more important question about the sanctioning authority. This is there even in the earlier LFAR. Let me go a little down. I'm not covering with respect to the documentation and so on, as my session is more on the Excel. So please bear with me. Yeah, there is a question here. In the cases examined by you, have you come across instances of credit facilities having been sanctioned beyond the delegated authority or limit fixed for the branch? Are such cases promptly reported to the higher authorities? How you are going to verify? I am sure even I experience it the same. When I cover this, when I take my staff, when this question comes, they immediately ask the branch manager, sir, have you sanctioned any limit excess than your authority? Then they'll say, no, sir, in our branch, no instance. Then immediately we'll write no instances found. How can a branch manager tell that, yes, he sent, there are many instances where he sanctioned beyond the delegated authority? No, that's not the proper method. We need to identify on our own. So to identify this, first you must know, you must have the master data with respect to the sanction authority. There is one file which I have given it to you. This is the sanction authority master data. So you can, this is the audit planning. Audit planning is nothing but before going into that, when my staff goes there, they need to compile this information and they should gather this information and make a working file, and they should keep the information and certification like this and so on. In this case, immediately I gather sanctioning authority and sanction limit, for which if is there any document proof, then I will be taking the same. I'll consider this. Now, what I'll be doing, I'll just go here, sanction authority is this one. Okay, I'm sure every loan file as well as the CCOD file, you will be having the sanction authority. If you check it out, this is the sanction authority. Let us look into the loan file first. Are you finding your sanction limit? Yes, I'll be inserting one more column. What is this column? I'll be putting sanction limit fixed by bank, as per bank. Okay, authority limit, right? Where you can find this, equal to VLOOKUP. Friends, to make it more simple and self-explanatory, I made a defined name for this. If you check it out, this entire data, there is a defined name I have given as a sanction authority limit. How to give a defined name? You can just go to the formulas tab. Let me just go to the formulas tab. Let me go to the name manager where you can find this. You can even delete this. Let me make it again for you. Let me close it. You can just select this data and you can just go here, sanction authority limit, sanction.authority.limit. Don't keep the spaces here because spaces are not allowed. Okay, so let me go back. Now I'll be using a simple function in MS Excel called VLOOKUP. Why I'm using the VLOOKUP? Because of two things. I want to get the information from this table, and also this table is vertical table. It's not horizontal table. Because it's a vertical table, I am writing a VLOOKUP. Otherwise, I could have written a HLOOKUP. Syntax is very important in any MS Excel function, as you all know. Many a times we don't look into the syntax and we try to write the entire formula. Let me tell you, many a times, even we don't read the pop-up messages, whatever Excel provide. Let me give you a suggestion that don't have an ego with Excel. Okay, when Excel is trying to guide you something, when Excel is trying to support you, trying to give the help, you better take the help. Okay, let us not have any ego with Excel. So I want to look for this value, comma, it is suggesting me to take the table. Now let me go to the table, select this, then comma, immediately it is highlighting the column index number. Mr. Saran, you have selected the table having two columns. So which column value you want to consider? I want to consider the column value number 2, right? And do you want to get approximate match or exact match? In this case, it's going to be exact match. Either you can put false or you can even put 0. Anything is fine. Close bracket, enter. Wow. Let me just copy and paste. Okay, let me hide this. Yeah, let me copy and paste. Now let me insert one column. Let us identify it, whether it is within the limit or beyond the limit. Within or beyond. Okay, what is the formula you're going to use? Equal to if. Wherever there is a question, there is a logical test involved. When logical test involved, if is the function. What is the logical test? I'm going to ask a question. Cross check. Is it less than or equal to authority limit? As per the bank, this is the limit. Actual, this is the one. Is it less than? If so, if it is less than, it's good. I can just simply put within. If not, then I'm going to put it beyond. So close bracket, enter. Let me just do copy paste. Wow. So let me just go here. Let me, hey, why I got a name? Surprisingly, the authority is not there. Let me put some code here just to know 7. Okay, that's fine. Beyond, I don't know, sanction limit. I just kept 7 here. 7. Control Z. Okay, you can just ignore out because random. I just looked up this data. This is the sanction limit, right? Okay, so authority limit, right? So let me put the sanction. Yeah, it is actually sanction authority is having nothing. Let me put 7. Okay, so now it is within. So now what I'll be doing, because I cooked up this entire data, I have taken from the previous files of mine, maybe friends, then I cooked up the entire data. Somewhere it got missed, but don't worry. You can just copy this because it's a beyond. Then you can just go here. You can make an annexure called annexure number 4. I'm sorry, annexure number 4. Because working tappers are most important. That's why I'm focusing more. I'm not ignoring even the small piece of working tapper. So let me have action number 4. Action number 4. So let me go here, copy the same, Control C. Now I can just go here. I can do Control V, Control C A. Now I can have a title. This is with respect to the sanction limit. LFAR point. You can just put the LFAR point. This is file C1. Okay, so let's go here, LFAR file.c.1. Simple. Okay, so you can just write, then you can just start asking, are such cases promptly reported to the higher authorities? Then you can verify if any document is there with respect to the same, then you can just verify and you can just allocate this again work to the staff and you can put the staff name. Then you can just put S or no. So is it S or no? If S, okay, then or no, whatever, in both the cases. What is the proof? So better you get the document, then you have the proof, right? Great. So like this, you can do n number of stratifications, n number. It is based on your experience, based on your work, how deep you involve into the file, and so on. Let us see, is there any other way we can do the stratifications out of this data? If you observe here, there's a term loan file, loans file, GL code having a performing, non-performing asset, account number is there. If you observe, is there anything I can get around the account number? Yeah, just by looking into account number, you may not do any analysis. Maybe if you can concentrate these two, maybe if you can relate these two, yes, there may be some work you can do around this. You know what is that? Are you not remembering a provision from the IRAC norms that if one account becomes NPA for the customer, all accounts will become NPA automatically? Okay, and also to take the sample, my suggestion you to take more samples out of the accounts where one person is having more than one facility. Because when a person is having more than one facility, when you take the entire data in a holistic way, that means at the top level, you need to look into the intra-bank transactions. Okay, so in the same bank, 2 facilities are there. It can be happen in this way. They might have taken the CC account and also they might have taken the home loan account, or maybe they might have taken the another account for the same customer. Then to pay the EMI of that housing loan, probably they may be using a CC loan payment. Okay, as per the CC loan terms, you should not use the same for any personal purpose, even not even for the assets related. So you must only need to use for the working capital, right? So how can you identify those things? In fact, how can you take the samples out of the data? So let us have a look. What I'll be doing, I'll simply take another pivot table. So let's have the pivot table, enter, click finish. Now, what I want, account number, right? Customer ID, take the rows. Let me take the rows. Account number, let me take it into the, take it into the values. And also I should know what is the outstanding, because maybe one customer can have 7 facilities, but all put together is not even 5 lakhs. Are you going to waste the time looking into that customer? No. So that's the reason outstanding always help you to make your sample size bigger and to support your materiality concept. So let me take the outstanding of this. I'll just keep the outstanding here and I'll just keep the number of accounts. Let me keep just the comma format 0 decimal. This is just the outstanding and this is nothing but the count. Okay. Now, what I'll be doing, I just make this outstanding higher to lower. Let me filter this. What I'll be doing, let me sort this. What I'll be doing, I'll just keep the cursor here. I'll go to the data. Let me keep it, okay, A to Z. Wonderful. In this case, let me keep it Z to A. Okay. So if you observe here, 1 second. Yeah, Z to A. If you observe, there is a customer who may be having four accounts, but 4 total put together is 4 lakh. See, majority of the cases where one person may have 5 accounts, 6 accounts are staff. Because in case of clean loans, staff loans, generally whenever there is a festival advance is there. 90% of the staff they may avail that. Whenever there is a housing loan for the staff, the 90% of the staff they may avail it. So they may avail almost like every facility what they provide. But still, it is your duty to check it out. In this case, since the sample size is small, I'll not check it out. But in these 3 cases, I'll have a very keen observation. Why? Because little bigger amounts. Maybe in this case also, in these 2 cases also, I'll try to check it out more. So what I'll be doing, let me highlight these 2 and let me highlight this. I'm sorry. Let me highlight this one and also let me highlight these 2. Also, let me highlight little down when I go. Okay, 27 is not a small amount. Let me take this. Maybe, yeah, I think it's fine. So I think almost 10, 15 samples we are taking. So take this, then you go down. Yeah, remaining all small. I think this is also a little bigger. In fact, 1 crore, 2 crore, and this is also bigger. So let me just take this and so on. So you can just start looking into the same. Then you see this is a bigger amount again. So you can just start taking this. This is again bigger. Remaining all 1 accounts are there. I don't want actually. This is one type of sample. It doesn't mean I don't want. I will even consider. Maybe for some other analysis I may consider. What I'll be doing, I'll just go to the filter. I'll just filter only for the color filters. So I'll just do a filter. Let's go here. I want to filter by color. Let's take all these accounts with outstanding. Then I'll make it as an annexure file. So I'll just take it as an annexure file. Then you can just make it as, yeah, and just copy paste. It's okay. So these are all what you need to verify out of this. Account statements are important. So before we go into the branch, you can ask for all these accounts, the account statements analysis, account statement analysis. Okay. So you take all the 4 accounts of this, check it out. Is there any intra-company transactions? Check it out. Is there any diversion of funds? And is there any purpose for which the sanction is there? They are not utilizing. Then you can comment. So in fact, if you ask me, if you look into the scope of the branch audit, the scope is you need to give the inputs to the branch manager. Sorry, inputs to the central statutory. So the inputs must be with respect to the process, with respect to the internal controls. If so many cases, if internal control is not strong, considering this as an audit working paper, considering this as a sample for the audit working paper, you can give a qualification. Let me tell you, qualification doesn't mean the MOC. Just because MOC is there, qualification is required. That is wrong. My opinion, maybe you can counter it. Okay, so my opinion is MOC only qualification, that's wrong. Many people think when we give MOC, then in fact, if you give MOC, sometimes qualification may not be required. Qualification is something where you want to highlight the point. Let me tell you a way. In this case, let's say in all these accounts, there is a lot of funds movement from one account to the other accounts without having any proper support, a document, without having any proper rationale. Maybe if this entire portfolio is like 12.5 crore, right? 13 crore, total is almost like 20 crore. Sorry, out of the loans, it may be 20%. If that is the case, then I may put into the qualification, stating that, okay, because these all are the things which I am qualifying because we verified the sample of so and so, and this is what the result we found. That may be more focused to the central statutory auditor. Okay, he may emphasize that point into his report when he started looking into the same. Maybe if the same thing around all the branches is coming, then he may put the point. So that means your work is depending on not only what you are doing, but also based on the other person who is doing. If all chartered accountants are very much quality with respect to giving a report, 100% it is a bounded duty to the central statutory auditors, because he is also looking into the material, right? Let's say out of 1,000 branches, maybe out of 200 branches under one central statutory auditors, 200 branches are there, where 50 chartered accountant firms are working. Let's say 70 chartered accountant firms are working. He'll get 200 branch audit reports. Out of 200, maybe one person is reporting about something irregularity. Just because one branch reported, it doesn't mean he will take that point into his main audit report when he's going to submit. No. Again, he will look into the materiality. Maybe if we all find the same, if all audit reports almost like having the same comment, because then they'll also start looking into that. Okay, there's something serious where we need to focus more. As simple as it. Okay, so you can just start taking the account statement, and you can even tell to the branch managers before going into the bank that these all are the account statements I want in a soft copy format. Leave about whether they'll give it or not, but at least these all are as a verification you'll get it. Tomorrow, at least you can say that we did not get much support from the branch, and this, though we sent repeated emails, we did not get any response. Email communication is also the most important. Okay, so we can do another analysis also out of this. Okay, this is just here I kept. Let us do another analysis. What is the other analysis? Let me remove this. Let me remove the filter. The other analysis is what are you doing? Are you having your performing assets, non-performing? Now I take this performing, non-performing here, the column labels. Let's not have the grand total here because I don't want any grand total. Let's go to the design. Let's go to grand totals. You can make it off for both. Now this is a very clean one. Outstanding for NPA, performing. So what I'll be doing to make it more simple, let me remove the codes instead of performing asset. Let me have this PA so that the content will look smaller. So let me have NPA. Okay, because I changed my source data, let me just right click and refresh. This will get changed. Right now, what is the analysis you can do out of it? If one account, this in this case, this is one second. I think in this case, PA is this, NPA is nothing. Then there's no problem. But the problem comes, where one account is an NPA, the other account is a PA. Then that means you must be very careful. Check it out. Is there any instance where both are having amount? Okay, I did not find anyone. But you can go manually because it's an account wise, sorry, customer and ID wise. So you can just start writing a small formula here. You can simply put if function. Check it out. If this is blank, sorry, if this is not equal to blank, then if it is not equal to blank means there is a amount here. Then also check if this is also not equal to blank. If both are not equal to blank, that means both are having some value. If both are having some value, then you need to look into this as, okay, check. Okay, alert, whatever you can give it, check. Now, if not, okay, so that means this is not blank. So if this is not blank, I am asking whether this is a blank. If this is also not blank, then check. For example, if this is blank, then it's okay. In another case where this may be having a value, but this is blank, even that is also close bracket. Combining the two if functions. Now you can just take it out here. Now you can just go down. Now you can just verify here, right? So I want to have the same format. I'm very much particular about formatting, working papers, and so on. That's the reason I'm taking more time. So now you can just simply filter the data, whether is there any check. Okay. Now you can just go the filter. Okay, not this one because this one is titled. 1 second. Okay, you can't take a filter here, so you can just take the filter here. Let me filter for chat. It's only the title, so no check. Everything is okay. Wonderful. Okay, so this is at least as a proof. You can tell to the person that okay, I have verified in this way. So let me go towards the right side. Let me drag this 1 second. Yeah, you can just make it as stratification. You can also start keeping the stratification numbers. Stratification file. What it does, it is giving me an analysis. Okay, NPA versus PA for the same customer. Or else customer wise NPA versus PA. You can put whatever the item you want. You can just give who has checked the staff. So you can just start keeping the staff name. Is there any instances you found? Since no, that's fine. Let me just say you can do any number of things out of this. So let us start looking into this account number. That is the way we can verify. Now let us look here the customer name. Is there any way the customer name is helpful? Is there any way the customer name is helpful? Yeah, in the meanwhile, okay, because the questions may be piled up, let me quickly go through the questions. I think Vijayawada branch is okay. Chairman, sir, because instead keeping all together at once, let me take quickly for 2 minutes and start looking into the questions. Yeah, sir, the Dropbox link where all these files are there, again, I'm putting into the chat box, so you can just look into the same. I've already shared earlier, but still I'm sharing again. So whoever had to download the working files, this entire material is for you. Okay, 1 second. Why am I not finding this? Control C. Right click, select on. No. Can someone share the Dropbox link to the members? Yeah, I'll share it. Okay, so let me start looking into the questions. So when I just start looking into the questions one after other, okay, so I think most of the things have it's not audible and so on. Yeah. Let me go a little. Yeah, link for command files. Sir, I'll be sharing it again. Don't worry about the files. That will be reaching you before I leave the session. Don't worry. If advance is given in prior years, but about the threshold limit for those accounts, also transaction audit must be done. No, they said it's not about, I think, Geeta ma'am, Geeta Ramanujan. Hi, Geeta ma'am. Yeah. So in this case, you need to look into the outstanding balance. If outstanding balance, even in advance sanctioned 10 years back, but today outstanding is 11 crore, that you need to take it into the consideration for the transaction audit. Yes. But last these many years, how can you do? Maybe that is your question. So you need not to look into the entire thing. You look recently they might have renewed or reviewed, right? Then you need to check it out. If it is 10 years back loan, but still if it is a term loan, then you need to check it out the sanction documents. There is no doubt. You need to check it out the security. You need to check it out all the things. Yeah. Now let us look into the other question. Maybe slowly scroll down. Yeah. Why SEBI is not generating monthly reports such as one in the operating accounts now became operating in this month, loans rescheduled during the month? I don't know, but I doubt. I'm sure even those reports also will be generated. Otherwise, they may not track. They will be definitely having loans rescheduled during the month, as well as inoperative accounts now became operating in this month. I'm sure maybe the report name is different. I'm not even sure the name. You may at least have in the exception reports. You check it out, the exception report. If some inoperative account is there, suddenly it became an operative account, then you will be finding in the exception report. And also when there is a huge deposits in one account, which is almost like a dormant. I'm just giving you an examples in the exception report, what type of things are there, or else any rescheduled loans are there. Okay, some of the cases exception report is basically when there is a process, something above the process. That means they diverted the process and did something, then everything will come into the exception report. If any in the system, if any branch manager went back and changed any of the date of the sanction, or maybe interest rate, or any BC related something got invoked. So these all will be part of your exception reports. I think Ramarao, this is the answer. Now there is one more question from Geeta ma'am. In LFAR, asset classification point 1 has branch identified and classified advances without manual intervention. Kindly get. I'll start. Has branch identified and classified advances without manual intervention? Yeah, Geeta ma'am, just hold your question for 10 minutes. I'm going to show you one RBI guidance for the branches. Maybe you can understand why they asked that question. There's one more question. Is the auditor login? Is it possible to generate any report in group such as gold loans rather than individual account? Ideally, because whatever the important reports for the auditors, yes, as an auditor login, you need to get it. But I doubt with respect to the account statements whether that may be possible to download or not. So if not any of the report, then probably we need to take the support of our branch manager. There is no doubt. Yeah. So, sir, how to ensure that interest rate is not changed in the system during the March? Basically, there are cases where the interest rate is charged at the lower rate, but change rate in the month of March. Let me tell you, Sairam, in fact, I sent you one file of NPA related. There you can also check it out. If you open any one account, okay, that account transactions will come separately and account related master data will come separately. Once you open an account, all the items with respect to that account you can find. When there are two times the interest rate got changed, then you will be having a table having all the dates along with the interest rate. So if you open an account, I doubt whether only it shows the recent interest rate, it also shows when it got changed and what is the earlier interest rate. Because an account, once you open, the account master will have everything about that particular facility. So I think your question got answered. That will be formed into the table. I think in the FlexiCube related, I'll be showing you one screen. Let me check it out. But anyway, provide. Okay, that's fine. Duplication of accounts. I doubt whether it is really possible because that is a minimum system validation. It does. Okay, but anyway, you can simply select the account and you can go to the home tab and you can just have conditional formatting. Then you highlight whatever the duplicates, then you may find that. But I doubt whether really you'll be finding something with respect to the duplicate accounts or not. So what exactly the transaction audit means? The transaction audit is basically you need to go through the account very carefully with every point. Okay, that particular transaction you must have a familiar. That means you must know everything in that account what happened. When they send a document, when they provided the document, you need to check it out whether the documents are correct, whether the documentation part is correct, whether the sanction related terms are correct. After the sanction, whether they are following the guidelines or not. By looking into the account analysis, is there any fund diversion or not? That is what entirely. Nowhere transaction audit defined. This word they might have borrowed from the IBC because in the IBC, there are 3 to 4 related audits put together. They call it as a transaction audit. Okay, but transaction audit, the name as suggests, you need to look into the most of the aspects for that particular account. I mean, which points to check. That's what I said, Sairam. You need to check the sanction related, then you pre-sanction, post-sanction, and operating. Okay, maybe I can divide it into 3. Pre-sanction, whatever the documentation, post-sanction, whatever the documentation which they need to gather every month or every quarterly and so on. Then operating, how the account is operating and so on. Just to avoid any Fund diversion. Okay, that's fine. So exception report not on daily basis but on monthly basis. I doubt exception reports may come daily basis. You can check it out the SBI. I'm sure yes, every day there are reports. Every day exception reports will come. I don't think so. It is monthly basis because see exception report is something an alert to the branch manager or the management. Let's say today end of the day, couple of reports may generate. That means they may mention that Mr. Saran, okay, this person is having need to submit this report or may need to post this transaction with two authorities, but only one authority has given approval, but still it got posted into the system. That's an exception. Or else maybe in one dormant account, suddenly 100 crore deposit happened. That's a exception. If after the month end, if they start looking into the same, I don't think so. It serves the purpose. Yeah. Now question the interest in interest rate I raised before through Excel. Can we find when the interest rates are changed? No, no. Okay, you may find Sairam. That's the reason. In fact, I forget to mention the point that these all reports you might have taken as on 31st March. There's no doubt. But not as on just 31st March, you need to take it. You need to take for actually 5 periods. Last year end, then after first quarter end, after second quarter end, third quarter end, and as on 31st March 2021. Once you have all these five files with you, then you can have a comparison from one quarter to the other quarter. Is there any change? Okay, then you can identify during the year how many times it got changed. That may be one method I can suggest you, right? So yeah, I think many questions are going on. We'll stop if the question is repeating. Yeah, I think you got the answer. What's the command to generate the scheme-wise daily outstanding report advances in details which contain the customer ID, account number, name of party, sanction date? Sir, this is not the command. Okay, I'm sure. Okay, good question. These all are the files by default they give. Main files to know loans related, CCDP related, CCOD related. I don't think so. You need to ask them. Other than that, if you want any files, you may need to go, because when I just go here, the CDS reports in CDS. Okay, these are all our reports it's going to generate. Let me look here the loan related report. Yeah, the question you asked is, my friend, this is the report you need to generate. You need to take from the system. So LOND 2390 will give you the loan balances file. Okay. Yes, when it comes to the CCDP, yeah, it is here only. CCDP balance file, the name is DEPD0580B and so on. So these are all files, 90% they provide. These all are important files and required files. But other than this, maybe exception reports and so on, if you have more interest to go into the system, then you need to find the command properly. Asking about the bank alert, it was daily outstanding report then. Okay. Yeah, I think yeah, I answered your question, Abhinav. I don't know. Overall, put together, if to put into the simple part, the reports what you're going to generate as on loan balance. Yeah, okay. So loan balance file you take as on today. The same maybe on the date of 30th June, all these zip files may be available in the SBI. They have to go into that particular date and pick up this file. Then they have to go and take into the last year closing balance. I think it's possible when there is a date related period is there. Yeah, is it possible to see all the exception reports in my audit? Yeah, exception reports also many types. Okay, daily exception reports will come, then annual exception reports will come. Then if you go into the exception reports, see, even in my experience, I'm telling with the SBI, exception reports is one folder. In that you may have 20-30 text files are there. When you are looking into 20-30 text files, just that report will generate. Sometimes there are no transactions in the report. So if you can spend 10 to 15 minutes time just opening a file and started looking into the file, is there in transaction? Definitely it's possible. So what is the impact of Supreme Court judgment yesterday? Okay, so I'll cover that little later. So earlier I got experience of the loan sanctioned against the government lands, attached properties by the GST, how to find as list. Very good. Earlier, I got experienced loan sanctioned against government lands, attached properties by GST. Loan sanctioned against the government lands, is it? That means a customer kept security, the government land. I'm not sure about the question. Maybe you can, I can look into the question. Yeah, I think friends, more or less I covered all the questions. I'll look into your question, Shankar Rao. Otherwise, you can maybe put the question a little elaborate. I'm not sure exactly what you asked for. Yeah, you can find the PPT. Okay, fine. So what is this PPT? Okay, let me go to the desktop and open. I'm very happy the session is becoming more. Yeah, let me open this. It's more interactive. Yeah, it is our institute related. Okay, so our institute conducted one session even very recently also, from where you can find all these screenshots. Okay, so you can this also I can keep it in the folder. Thank you so much. I think it must be there. I already kept, but anyway. Yeah, let me go into the other things before into question and answer, because we have only another 1 hour 15 minutes. We can take the question and answers a little later. Okay, so let me close this. Yeah, let me open. There is one. Yeah, I have written something like this. I'm not going to cover the Iraq, because Iraq, I'm sure many people might have spoken. But the important parts, let me explain you. Very simple one. I kept it in a very simple way. When it comes to the term loan, the very important verification you need to check it out. The 3 installment: interest and principal are interest and our principal installment remains overdue for a period of more than 90 days in respect of term loans. In other way around, 3 installments. So you need to check it out. The theo balance. Okay, theoretical balance is something. Ideal balance means if everything goes well, as on today, what must be the balance? If you make an amortization table, okay, from the data of the loan, then you may find amortization, that means outstanding as on a particular date. That is a theoretical balance. Outstanding means ledger balance, actual balance. So if theoretical balance is more, then what is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of it? That means he is paying much advance than required. That means it's good. But when theoretical balance is less than the outstanding balance, other way around, outstanding is more than the theoretical balance. That means outstanding is just piling up. As on today, ideally, in an ideal situation, outstanding must be 10 lakh. But as on today, 15 lakh outstanding is there. That 5 lakh is nothing but the difference we need to identify. So ideally, this difference must be the last 3 months EMI. Yes or no? So if we calculate it, the difference of outstanding minus theo balance divided by EMI, if that is greater than or equal to 3, straight away it is an NPA. No argument, nothing, because it's a very clear-cut calculation. Let us take an example and understand how we are going to check it out. While explaining this, let me also explain you the text to column. Okay, so this is the text file of the loan balances. It's having a lot of columns. So what I'll be doing, I'll just do Control A, Control plus A, Control plus C. Now you can go to the Excel. Now let me open another file. This is let me save this file as the analysis of loan balance. Analysis of loan balance. Don't worry, whatever the files which I'm keeping here, everything by default automatically update into the link. So you just refresh the link once it gets synced. Now what I'll be doing, let me do Control A, Control C. I'll just go back to my Excel. I'll do Control V. So obviously the entire data came into one single column. So let's go to the data, go to text column, go to the next. But for your information, this is not delimited, this is a fixed width. As you all know, fixed width files are nothing but meant for the report and printing. That means this file, they may be printing into a paper. Okay, there is a fixed width. Do you think A4 size paper width may change from country to country? No, everywhere it is same. Based on the paper size, they arrange the columns, how it has to be appeared. So every column is having the standard width. When it comes to the delimited, every column is not having the same width. But how system will know that every column got separated with a delimited value? So let me take fixed width here. Let's go to the next. The problem with this type of text to column, in this text to column, is you can't expand this pop-up message, so you can't see more preview of this. So let me go down. So my suggestion is scroll down till the heading so that you can see the heading. You'll get to know where exactly you need to cut here and also cut here. Let's go towards the right side. Customer number, cut here. Let me go towards the right side. Customer name, let me cut here. Limit, cut here. Let me go towards the right side. This is the interest rate, and this is the theoretical balance, and this is the outstanding. Yeah, these two columns were the one I was talking about. Then look into the irregularity, then look into the sanction date, then you can look into the EMIs due, you can even look into the EMIs paid and EMIs overdue, EMIs new IRAC, old IRAC, arrear condition. I think in a very recent seminar at the Vijayawada branch, Vijay Srinivas sir might have very in-depth explained about the financial functions, how to calculate the EMI and so on. So this is the one. If you want that video, you can just go through the YouTube channel of Vijayawada branch of SARC. Let's go here. Let me click finish. Friends, you can also visit the Vijayawada branch YouTube channel for the 25-week Excel sessions. In fact, every Saturday evening 6 to 8, I have spoken on Excel. Almost 24 weeks are over. Only 1 week is, if I'm not wrong, 23 weeks are over. Only 2 weeks are pending. So every week video got uploaded into the YouTube channel. So it's like almost 40-50 hours content you have on Excel. Start from the very basic till the advanced I have covered there. So as you all know, Vijayawada branch is a single point of contact for any knowledge related sharing. So you go through the website, everything you can find as a playlist, so you can learn, but not now. Okay. So whenever you have a free time, you can do so. Okay. Let me have a filter. My suggestion is, see, I did a couple of steps. When I just did text to column, my suggestion always delete till the heading so that you can see the heading and you can play with the data. Let me do Control Shift End. Once you do Control Shift End, then you can keep the filter. Control Shift End is shortcut to take you into the extreme towards the right side. Now let me go up, right? Now I want to clean up the data because some of the junk data is there in between. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do, let's select this and select everything. Let me select only the junk data. So go to the bottom. In this account, I'm sure I want to have only the account number in this column. So text column, you can just select and you can click OK. Then come down. I don't want this entire data. Control Shift End because this is junk data. So Control minus. When you do Control plus minus, it's saying delete entire sheet row. Now you can just do the filter. Now keep the bold. Then autofill the column with wonderful. Now you take it out. Account number, account type. Now you can exactly see. Okay, let me do one stratification because it's a real file. I'm sure we can do earlier stratification with interest rate. You can definitely connect because it's having an account type. So let me put it here so you can see whether it's a car loan and so on. Then you can just put the interest rate. Then also you can put one more interest rate. Then you can immediately see this as a minimum. You can just go here and take it as a minimum, and this you can see it as maximum. Summarize values by max. Then you can just check it out. There's almost like 133 different products are there. So go to the home tab, keep comma format with 0 decimal. This is the minimum, this is the maximum. I want also the outstanding to know how many items are there. Okay, I don't want outstanding. Yeah, outstanding also you can keep it. Otherwise, instead of outstanding, let's have the account numbers. How many account numbers are there? What is the count? So I don't want sum actually. So let me right click and summarize with count. So this is the number of accounts. Okay. So this is the data. Now this is the real data with respect to the loans. Earlier, since product code was not there, we identified with the GL. Now you put this minus this, so max minus min. So you can cross check and copy and paste. Now you can see difference. So now have a filter. Just keep the cursor here, put the filter. Just go here. Yeah, even now here 5 3. Earlier data is little cooked up. So now see, there are two accounts. Let us verify both the accounts because one account is 10.1, the other account is 15.10. So in this case, not very big. So 32 accounts are there, maybe almost nearby because it's okay. Based on the CIBIL, maybe 0.5%, 1% may up and down. Then maybe you can take two accounts. In this case, two accounts. Sorry, in this case, one account. Maybe in this case, 5 accounts, 3 accounts. So in this case, one. In this case, almost like same. So 3 to 5 you can take because more number of accounts are there. 3 are there, 2 are there. In this case, take 3 accounts because 2.4 is the difference. In this case, take all three. Okay, so this is the way you can verify the interest rate. Anyone having any question? Please let me know. This is a sample. Right, let us start looking into that because it's a term loan file. I did text to column and I deleted the unnecessary data. Now, this is the loan balance file. Now let's start looking here, account number, account type, customer number. Hey, is there any way the customer name is helpful to the auditor? Is there any way the customer name can be helpful to the auditor? Yes. You know what filters I do with the customer name? I do the filter with the surname first. I'll ask the branch manager, is there any relation with respect to the surname? Why that is important to you? Because maybe in one house, 4 people might have taken the loan. We need to look into the fund diversion and also looking into the security part. Okay, whether they have taken the proper security or not, and how the security being divided among those people. So that is one part. Otherwise, the customer name is also important when there is a loan with respect to the CC. When there is a loan for a partnership firm. If partners also taken the loan in the same bank, generally, you know, from with one bank they have a good relation, so all the facilities they take from the same bank. So when there is a firm taking the facility and also there are partners who has taken another facility. So in more chances there may be a transaction among these 4 accounts. So you can take partners account, you can take company account. Is there any intra transactions happen? So you can just take it and you can just do some analysis on this and you can comment if the irregularity is very serious. Maybe you can take the company name. If any of the directors are keeping the, is there any transaction between the company and the director, then you can verify. So for that reason, customer name is very important. But you know how our article students use this customer name, they'll just filter for their surname. If they find surname, they'll go back to home and tell to their parents that I found one customer with that name. That is with so excitement. Okay, so let's not have any other aspect of it. It is only for the verification purpose. So this is the way customer names help us. Let's go to the limit. So this is the limit. The limit is nothing but the sanction limit. Okay, total loan amount. Interest rate we have already seen. Theoretical balance. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. These 2 columns are very important. What is the meaning of these 2 columns? It's very simple. This is what the theoretical balance. That means ideal balance. As on today, this must be there in the system. But ledger balance is 25,000. Both are exactly matching. I think this fellow EMIs. I think I missed the headings properly because that came into the 2 columns. Let us try to see what is the columns. First one is EMI due, EMI paid, EMI overdue. EMIs due, overdue, paid. So EMIs paid and EMIs overdue. EMIs then paid, due, paid, and overdue. Right? Because it's only 1 month, so it's exactly matching. So let's take this, then I'll just take it out this minus this. First, let's have a formula. Whether is there any extension? So what I'm doing equal to if. Ideally, theoretical balance must be greater than or equal to outstanding balance. If so, sorry, it must be H2. If so, then I want to have 0 because I don't want to consider anything. If not, that means theoretical balance is less than outstanding. Then there's a problem. What is the problem? you need to check it out, that outstanding minus the theoretical balance. Close bracket, enter. Okay, so copy and paste. This is nothing but the irregularity they calculated. Okay, so it is validation controls are so very important. Why the validation controls are very important? Irregularity by audit. Okay, then you can just have a this minus this system calculation versus my calculation. I just go here, check it out, everything is 0. That means the system calculation is correct. It's always good to check, because sometimes if the file got tampered after they have taken, they intentionally change something in the text files and give it to us, then what will happen? So you must be very careful. So these all two, it's also, this is the method I follow. Whenever extra columns which I insert, I always keep in a different color so that it will be a clear indication. I follow the color schemes everywhere. Yellow color is something which I got from the outside. This color is something which I write a formula and so on. So check is fine. Now, okay, this is what basically the irregularity versus this. Irregularity is there. Now, how you are going to use this irregularity? What must be there? This irregularity maybe last 1 month. That's fine. Last 2 months, also fine. Last 3 months, not fine, because that means already 3 months exceeded. That must be ideally NPA. So what I'll be doing, I'll take this divided by, I'll just go here. I'm sure EMI amount is there. This is EMI amount. I'll just enter, right? So because it's already 0, it's 0 only. 0 is now exactly in this case. Okay, so it's not very big, very little amount. So 0.39 is the difference. Let me copy paste down. What is the ideal thing here? Okay, EMI in this case is nothing. Yeah. So what is the meaning of this in this case? These are nothing but the irregularity periods. Irregularity periods. What is the meaning of it? This amount is irregular. This amount is irregular. But I want to divide with the EMI so that I'll get to know for how many periods it is irregular. Then I'll check it out. Filters. This must be greater than 3. Greater than or equal to God. It's greater than. Just check it out, greater than. I'm sure you may be finding almost like 157 accounts out of 1370. Maybe some of the account might have already did the NPA. So what you need to do out of this, remove the NPA accounts, then take only the PA accounts. Then if that is a PA account, then you can just get the information from the person from the branch why those accounts are not considered as an NPA. Because in the other cases, maybe interpretation related, but in this case, no interpretation, straightforward NPA until unless there is a proper evidence or is there any change in the system and so on. So that's the reason this column is very important. Okay. Any questions here? Yeah. I'll look into the questions. Any question in this part of writing the formula? Fine. That is about the term loans. So let me also put the list of functions which may be helpful in case of term loan related calculation. So let me put the financial functions which are helpful, which are part of your Excel. So PMT is one function which is very important. So let me just put your function name. Let me put here what it does. It returns. Okay. So PMT calculates the equated installment. I didn't say equated monthly installment. That is based on what you provide the input. Then there's a function in Excel called rate. Rate function calculates the rate. Calculates the rate of interest. Then you have a function called NPA. It calculates the number of periods. Let me put one more function called PV. Calculates the present value. Present value is nothing but the loan in our case. Okay, friends, for any calculation, these all 4 are required. Yes, sir. It's very simple to know these functions. If you want to get PMT, these 3 are the parameters. If you want to calculate rate, remaining 3 must be the parameters. If you want to calculate NPR, these remaining 3 are parameters. If you want to get present value, remaining 3 are parameters. So if you learn one function, remaining all functions are very simple. Just to take a very quick example, I'm sure you already know all these functions, but still a very quick example, just to calculate the loan. Loan is, let's say, 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees. Rate of interest is, let's say, 9.25%. Where is this? Oops, yeah, 9.25%. Then I have a number of periods are nothing but, let's say, 10 years, or else let's take 12 years. Then I want to calculate what is the EMI equal to PMT. So let me call this as a PMT so that you can understand the language of the function. Equal to, this is now, instead of PV, let me take it as PV then loan. Loan is a other name. This is number of years. Let me put in the bracket years. Rate in the bracket interest rate. Rate of interest. Okay. So equal to EMI. No, the function name is PMT. What is the rate? This is the rate. Divided by 12 because this is yearly. Number of periods, check it out. Rate, NPR, take this NPR into 12. Why? Because the number of periods are 144. 12 months into 12 years. Then present value is this. Close bracket, enter. Don't worry. Okay. Present value means, let's say, let me look from the customer angle. Customer gets the 10 lakh into the pocket. So every month this is the amount which goes out of the pocket. That's the reason it's a negative. Let's say from the bank angle, bank pays 10 lakh rupees, which goes out of the pocket. So negative. So EMI is a positive. So just to avoid the confusion, so what I do, I just start my formula with a minus so that this avoids the confusion. Okay. So this is the way you can calculate the PMT. In case of term loans, these all functions are very important. Now, friends, let me highlight this in this color, yellow color. Now, let's say all these parameters are already available. Please special values, please special format. Okay. Copy this, please special format. Okay, so these all three are there. Let's say loan is not there. So copy paste special value. Loan is not there now. Now, what is the formula going to write? Simple. PV is the function. For the PV, what other parameters? Simple. Rate, take this rate, divided by 12, comma, take this number of periods into 12, comma. PMT is nothing but this. Because it's a positive, the answer is going to be negative. Just to overcome the problem, let me put minus of minus. So I can simply take minus of this. Now let's say, let me take all these parameters. Now let me take EMI. Now my rate is missing. Can I calculate? See, it's always good to know this because whatever the data they have provided, you can calculate on your own. You can cross check whether it's working properly or not. It is as per the report you got or not. So now you can check it out. Equal to rate is the function. You need not bother anything. Just follow the syntax. This into 12, comma. Then PMT. This is the one, comma. This is the present value. You can take this. But this both can't be positive, right? There is no meaning. Excel is giving a number. Either this must be negative or this must be negative. Let me put this as a negative. So this is a monthly interest into 12 will become an annual interest. So let me copy this, paste here, copy this, paste here. Let me go to the other function called NPER. Now let's say all of the parameters are there, but number of periods are not there. Equal to NPER. Then you can take the rate into the consideration. This divided by 12. Then you take the PMT. Then you take a present value. If you enter, this goes very negative because both are positive. So it's saying you can take one item negative. So this is number of months divided by 12. This is number of years, as simple as it. So my point is just to calculate these four functions. I think majority of the term loan related calculation you can do it. Also, my suggestion, before going into the bank audit, prepare the EMI calc like this. In fact, to make it more simple for you, I've already prepared for you and given it to you. Okay, so you open this EMI file which I have given. In this, what I have given, I've taken the present value here, then I've taken the rate of interest, then I've taken the number of periods. The advantage of using the latest functions are this will become automatically expand. For example, if I change it as a 7,50,000, okay, then if you change it as a 8.95%, this is okay. If you change these two anyway, answers will change automatically. But my point is, if you even change this, Okay, it automatically copy paste till that. So let me take one till 145. Take it out. It got expanded till 145. Let me take only till 75. Now you can just take it out. It has taken till 75. Very beautiful. That means everything is automated. Okay. So any question, anyone, please let me know in the CMI calculation. Already provided it. And this is part of Office 365, friends. These all functions I have used are Office 365. If you are not having Office 365, then these all formulas give you the name. So I request you to upgrade your Excel so that latest features are always available. So this EMI Calci can be a template. As I already mentioned, many things you can keep it ready before going into the audit. How to make this as a template? It's very simple. Okay, let me just add this. Let me just close this. Now let me open this. Let me go to EMI Calci. What I can do, I'll just save this file. Don't just save this file as an Excel SX. Excel SX is a spreadsheet file without having a macro. Are you finding there is one more file type called Excel TX? T means template. Excel means XML. T means template. X means macro free. So let me just put EMI Calci. The name got replay. It is asking already. There is a file you want to replace. Yes. So now what will happen? You take any blank Excel. You go to the file tab, then you go to the new, then you go to the personal, then you go to personal, then you will be having one template called EMI Calci. Just click it because this must be handy with you. Okay, this must be handy with you. Now you do whatever the calculation you want, you save it, and you need not to open the same thing again. Next time if you go here, that means this is a template. Whenever you want, you take it, use it, save it. Simple. Whenever you want, you take it, use it, and save it. As simple as it. Okay, again, take EMI Calci, that file will get open. As simple as it. Okay, so these when it comes to the term loan, these all are the important financial functions, and I request you to have a hands-on before going into the audit, because once you go to the audit and start working on all these things, I'm sure your formulas will become error. So this is what is the meaning of it? Theoretical balance outstanding, it's irregularity. Okay, this is a irregularity identified by audit. Then in this case, this must be maybe the period for which irregularity period. Irregularity period. Okay, so I said you can simply take more than 3, then you can just check it out greater than 3. Then these all how many out of which you need to take the NPA account separately. Remaining accounts you should start identifying, right? Let's see if you check it out here, especially in case of SBI, not only SBI, all the banks 24, the columns are almost same. If you observe, there is a new IRAC is there, old IRAC is there, arrear conditions are there, then account maintenance branch is there, EMI install date is there, irregularity date is also there, and so on, unrealized interest and so on. When there is an unrealized interest, that means it is definitely irregularity. Then how much unregular? Okay, unrealized interest. So you can just verify that. Okay, so friends, here one point I would like to tell you. Basic question, you will get it once you go to the branch. The branch manager tells a story that Sharon, the entire process is automated. I think one person asked me this question also about the NPA related verification. One question is there, right? Whether the classification has done in the system automated or not. That you need to comment. I'll tell you why. Let me show you one file of SBI. Till last year, I used to show this file just to tell all the people that NPA will not happen automatically. There's a manual interruption. I knew IRAC status means, okay, let us go a little ahead of earlier. Let me identify. Each and every loan account is processed by the system during the end of the day process for deciding the NPA status. The arrear condition and the arrear action explained earlier are used by the system in determining the risk grade of the account. So arrear condition is something you can find here. Okay, just go here. This is the one they're talking about, arrear condition. Arrear action is the one already there. So based on these two, it's going to generate the risk grade. Are you finding any risk grade? No. Based on the risk grade, they are going to keep new IRAC or old IRAC. What is the new IRAC? This is an indicative status of the loan account. as processed by the system, right? It is generated by the system based on the arrear conditions. NPA processes such as stopping of interest application, reversal of unrealized interest will not happen based on the risk grade shown in the new IRAC status. This requires a confirmation from the operating staff. Let me highlight and stretch more. This requires the confirmation from the operating staff. The confirmed status happens both by manual interruption and NPA stamping process at every 10th, 20th, and the last day of the month. So what is the meaning of it? There are arrear conditions, arrear actions. From the arrear condition, arrear action they'll define. From the arrear action, risk grade will define. Risk grade will tell whether it's a new IRAC or old IRAC. New IRAC is just an indicative status. If you check it out below, this is an actual IRAC status of the loan account. The new IRAC status is confirmed by the system at the time of NPA stamping or by user anytime during the year. The confirmed status is reflected under the column old IRAC status. Therefore, for all purposes of finding the NPA status of an account, the user has to refer this field. The system starts NPA process such as non-application of interest, segregation of unrealized interest automatically, and so on. Friends, why I am showing this slide to you? Because let me tell you very clearly, if branch manager would like to change the NPA status, that is possible. Because in the system, there is a lot of manual intervention through which they can change the classification. Okay. To confirm and to give you more support to this point, which I just explained, RBI in the month of September has given one guidance with respect to the automation. If you look here, this is September 14th. Automation of income recognition, asset classification, provisioning processes in the bank. Let me read out. This is very important. Don't miss it. We invite a reference to our circular so and so dated against in the month of August 2011, in terms of which banks were advised to have an appropriate IT system in place of identification of NPA and generation of related data returns, both for regulatory reporting and banks' own requirements. So what it said in the earlier circular that banks must have an IT system to identify the NPA for reporting purpose. But what is the real fact, It is, however, observed that the process for NPA identification, income recognition, provisioning, and generation of related returns in many banks are not yet fully automated. Though they have given a circular, but in many banks it's not happened. Banks are still found to be resorting to the manual intervention, a manual identification of NPA, and also overriding the system generated as a classification by manual intervention in a routine manner. This is another support we got from the earlier document. This is a simple document. We can show it to the branch manager stating that we don't believe what you give. Let us do our audit, because there is a more chance people can go back and override the system generated as a classification. They have given very in detail, leave about for the bank audit, even to improve your knowledge with respect to the systems related audit, process related audit. This document helps you a lot. Not just this document also mentioned the process, the data input, baseline requirements of the NPA classification solution. Let me connect. See, independently, if you see the reports and LFAR, if you read it, you may not get any point. Now let me go a little down to the LFAR. Now they asked about the data integrity, right? Data input. Right? I think this is the question you are mentioning, my friend, in the Q&A earlier. Let us read this question. Whether branch has the proper systems and procedures to ensure the data integrity relating to all data inputs which are to be used for MIS at corporate office level and for the supervisory reporting level. Have you come across any instances where data integrity was compromised? This is a very vague high-level question. Friends, system-related, data-related inputs are not just belongs to one branch. Ideally, this question must be for the central statutory auditors, but I surprised looking into this question because they were talking about the data integrity of the inputs. So here there may be a conflict. One branch auditor reported this very seriously. The other branch auditors did not report anything. That means For the same point, ideally, because if I found in one bank data integrity there is an issue, obviously there is other bank, there must be the same issue, right? If that is the case, how can two auditors will give two different opinions? Ideally, this must be above the level of branch auditor, but anyway, since it is part of it, we need to comment upon. And also, I think one question my friend asked about, is there any where you have seen the NPA classification got changed or something like that? One second. Let me read the question where it is. This is okay. These are all documentation related. Just give me one second. Yeah. Whether the bank has laid down procedures for manual intervention to system generated data and proper authentication of related report of manual intervention. These are all the answers. Yes, there are instances where they may change at the back end and so on. So let us see. I'm just trying to show you the different questions where this particular automation may impact. They themselves told that there is a chance that, okay, so bank managers may change, operating staff may change at the back end. Just give me 1 minute. Let me start looking into that. Yeah. Okay, so you can just start looking into the question. I think the question asked by someone, I think I have answered. There are many instances where they were just talking about the same, whether the input is correct, whether the NPA process is correct, and so on. You can just start looking into the thing. Has the branch obtained the valuation reports? This entirely is documentation. Then I'm surprising. There must be one more question with respect to the data, input data, and so on. Whether the branch is red flag? No. Okay, it's okay. Okay, so my point is very simple. Looking into this notification, this guidance. Okay, now let us look into the positive part of it. Okay, I request you to please read this documentation, not for audit sake, at least for your knowledge sake. Data input, how it is, data user access controls, how it is. They have also explained what is the process they are expecting from this automation. They have already given the process related logics also in the notification. Let us assume that they have given a timeline that by 30th June 2021, every bank, in order to ensure the completeness of integrity of the automated asset classification, okay, classification of advances or investments as NPA, non-performing asset or non-performing investment, and their upgradation, provisioning calculation, income recognition process, banks are advised to put in place their systems to conform the following guidelines by 30th June. That means, let us think positively. Let's say the situation where all banks implemented this considering the RBI guidance or order, whatever it is. That means leave about this year audit, next year audit by the time you go. That means as on 31st March 2022. If everything system automatically calculates, is there any work you need to do with respect to the NPA related? No. This entire work, because system has done everything taken care. But the point is, system calculates only when there is a proper input. When there is no input proper, output obviously you can't expect the output properly. So that's the reason in the LFAR there are more questions with respect to the data input. I'm sure they may soon change the LFAR again. Soon they're going to keep more points insisting us to validate the inputs, because once they put the input, then you and me need not to bother because system will take care. But input itself is in such a way so that they'll get the benefit in the process. That is what you need to verify. That's the reason this year they're expecting you to look into the IS audit report. They're expecting you to look into all the data and system related aspects. Okay, this is just a information or maybe warning I'm just trying to give you. The work related for the auditors may go down with respect to the NPA identification, but inputs related are most important in future. Okay. Let me open one more file because I was just talking about, term loans related. I already told you how to calculate the theoretical balance, outstanding balance, and how EMI calculator can help you, and what are the important financial functions. Out of order, Out of order is basically the word for the CC accounts or OD accounts. Excess than the limit, everyone knows basically. Outstanding balance remains continuously in excess of sanction limit or DP, whichever is lower for more than 90 days. It is 100% NPA, there is no doubt. But are there any instances where account is within the limit but still out of order? Yes, there are two instances. What are the instances? No credit continuously for 90 days as on the date of balance sheet date, right? Automatically NPA. Otherwise, credits in the account are not sufficient to cover interest debited during the same period. Not about serving, but about the coverage I'm talking. Let us take an example. There is no credit at all in last 3 months. Straight away NPA. Even then, let's say in the month of December 28th, he might have paid 1 lakh rupees. But next 3 months, there is no payment at all. You can't argue that, sir, he might have paid very much a bigger amount than required, and also he has not even taken 50% of sanction limit. So he's not utilizing the limit what the sanction for him. No, he can't escape, because though he might have paid more amount than required, for 90 days we need to calculate. If 90 days payment is not there, that is an NPA. Another case, it may be within the limit, but let's say in the month of January he deposited 29,000, right? But January, February, March, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 is the one, the interest. Do you think it's an NPA? Of course it is an NPA if you ask me, because whatever the amount he paid, okay, that means he's not serving the interest, as simple as it. Okay, last 3 months interest he has not served. Let us look into the first case study. Okay, second and third case study is very simple, because you just take last 3 months data. If it is data itself is not available with respect to the credits, straight away NPA. Even if it is there, is it matching with the last 3 months debit? If not, again NPA. Let us look into the first one. What I'll be doing, I'll just take the working files here. Let me take the raw data. Let me take the ledger account analysis. Okay, so let me save this file as a ledger account analysis so that raw data will not be touched. Okay, ledger analysis. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is very old data. I think this belongs to 2016. So just give me 1 minute, very quickly. I'll just turn this data. I thought I have changed earlier, but somehow it got missed. Come on, +4. I'm just converting this data to the present situation. So let's have a month. Let's have a day. Okay, so this is your loan balance. This is your account statement. Now, how to analyze this account statement? It's going to be very simple. What I'll be doing, I have a method. I use a consolidate feature in this case. I can take here equal to the first date. Why I'm taking first date? Because the loan sanctioned in the same year. If the loan sanctioned in the previous year, then you can take 1st April 2020. Now I want to have the next date. Why, Charan, you are doing so? Why can't you directly calculate here? I'll tell you. Basically, there are two statements we call. One is the account statement. The other one is the calendar statement. What do you mean by the account statement and what do you mean by the calendar statement? It's very simple. Account statement means there may be a transaction more than one on the same day, and there are no transactions on some of the days. When there are transactions on the same day more than once, you need to consider the last day balance, okay, for many practical purposes. So to avoid the confusion, what I do, I'll take one column, start from first day till the last date, then I'll keep my cursor here, I'll go to the data, I'll go to the feature called consolidate. Okay, so let me remove this and let me remove this. It's already there. I'm sorry. So let's take the reference. I want to consider date, debit, credit. Why should I don't want to consider the closing balance because anyway that I can build. So let's take add. Now let's take this database also. So control shift down arrow add. So once you take these two, add. Now top row left column, make sure that you are selected. So what is the meaning of it? Out of these two data sets, left column Excel will take the unique values. Top rows, it will take the unique values. Left column and top row combination, it's going to sum. Simple. So let me click OK. No problem. So this one Let me convert into the date format. It turned by default into the number format. Short date, wonderful. So this is the date and this is the debit and credit. Simple. Now, can I calculate my closing balance? That's possible, of course. So what I can do, equal to this minus this, then you can just put here this minus this. You can just copy this. You just go here, paste fetch. Okay, so this is the closing balance. Simple. Once you give the closing balance, okay, now I can use my formula. In this case, whether first of all it is out of order or not, let us verify. Okay, then if it is out of order, then we can consider how many days continuous it is out of order. Let me have a if function. Let me cross check. Is it greater than 5 crore? Is it greater than or equal to 5 crore? Equal to is not required. Greater than 5 crore. Let's say 5 crore is the sanction limit. So I'm very poor in zeros. 00, 00. Yeah, 00. Yeah. If it is, this is greater than, I think zeros are correct. Yeah. If it is greater than 5 lakhs, that means it is excess. If not, within the limit. Right? Wonderful. Yeah, you may find many places excess, but how many days continuously excess is the question. Let me ask one more question. If this is equal to limit, if this is equal to limit, then if it is a limit, I don't want to calculate anything, 0. If not means it is an excess. If it is an excess, you need to check it out whether above 1 is also excess or not. So let's check it out. One more function. If this is also limit, what is the meaning of it? If this is limit, this is excess, that means for the first time excess is coming, I want to take 1. Now if not, that means this is not limit, this is also not limit, that means both are excess. If both are excess, let's say this is already x number, this must be x plus 1. Yes, so above cell plus 1 is the one you need to put. Enter. Little confusing, but don't worry. Once I share this formula with you, once you practice, you can understand. Just copy paste. Wow. Just take this into the consideration. Now let me have the filter. I can simply take this, put the filter. I'll just take highest one, 42. That means there's no problem. But just for the reporting purpose of this account, check it out. There are no transactions at all. But this fellow deposited after 42 days and again withdrawn. Again, if you check it out, this continues for another 42 days and again it got withdrawn. See, you can highlight. These all are at least for the identification and working purpose. Maybe you can put in the working purpose mentioning that maybe for the NPA sake it's not the case, but NPA sake it's not the case, but there's serious irregularity with respect to the account because it is continuously exceeded more than 30-40 days and coming into the account. That means the operating transactions are not routed through this account and so on. As simple as it. Okay. So this is the way you can just calculate the number of days with respect to the out of order. Let me save this file because I already showed. Close it. Friends, when it comes to the straight away classification, you can just take into the valuation. If you find any decent value of the security, so this is very important point. Don't confuse with respect to the security. Let me explain you how it works. For example, my outstanding, let's say, let me ask you guys a question. You can answer in the chat box. Maybe, let's say, sanction limit at the time of sanction is 50 lakh. Okay, then at the time of sanction limit, they have taken a security worth of 2 crore. For the 50 lakh, 2 crore. Yes. Now, concentrate. The sanction limit is still same. But as per the recent valuation report, this value became 1 crore. Okay. Now my question is this NPA or not? Anyone? Put in the chat box. Maybe. I'm sure you can answer because you might have attended many sessions, but my just question. Anyone, please put in the chat box. Just would like to know. NPA? Yes. Okay. Okay. Let me tell you, because in these cases, generally you'll get the argument from the branch manager that, sir, anyway, more than the security, it might be perpetuation of fraud. Why there is a fraud? Where there is a fraud involved here, it is just a security which deteriorated. Maybe land they might have taken when there was a peak rate of market rate 2 crore, now it became 1 crore. There is no fraud here. Okay, so it is just a deterioration of security. You are absolutely correct. In this case, it is pure NPA because if you look into the master circular, they clearly mentioned when the security value deteriorated more than 50%. Okay, now let's say instead of 1 crore, 50% or more, then that has to be straight away taken into the doubtful assets. Okay, so they may argue that Sharon, it's only 50 lakhs, but there is 1 crore already an asset is there. We don't know the purpose why they have taken 2 crore as a property, okay, security. We need to follow the IRAC norm. As per the IRAC, this undoubtedly will become NPA. Okay, there is other situation, other question. Now, you can correct me if I go wrong with my answer. We can have an argument, there's no doubt. 550 lakhs is there and 50 lakh security is there. Now, this became 4,90,000. Okay. Now, NPA, this is there's no doubt, even you know that. Will it be doubtful or lost? In this case, it's not doubtful, but it is a loss. You know why? Because when the erosion is more than 90% of your, okay, so when the erosion is more than 90%, or else the net realizable value will be lesser than your outstanding. In this case, you need to take out the outstanding, not the sanction limit. Outstanding, then you need to take directly that into the loss account. So if 90% of the cases when there is a valuation, then there must be a figure in the term loan as well as CC account file. But when there is no entered data, then you need to check it out what is the recent valuation. Let me tell you, more than 5 crore every year stock audit is required, and 3 years once valuation is required. Okay, this is what mandatory. So we must be very careful looking for this data. Okay, so that is about this explanation. Let me close it. Now this is anyway not required. Close, save this, and so on. I think more or less with respect to this I've covered. Yeah, I know that one point is very important. You all will be eagerly waiting for a file where more than one row is there for what account. Okay, this you can find maybe in the, I don't know, you can guide me. I know that in the Andhra Bank it is BR12Y, State Bank of India CCDP file. Andhra Bank now it will get it merged into amalgamated into the Union Bank of India. So now not sure, but I'm sure every company, every branch, sorry, every bank will have a file like this, having all the columns. So this is very important to know all the details. So in this case, how to get this file? So how to convert this file into the proper format? Yeah, how to use this. So what I'll be doing, Control A, Control plus C. Now let me open this file. Generally in my earlier sessions last year, I used to take this as a first one. Now there are so many videos of mine. In fact, I have taken the same session at Vijayawada branch last year, SARC very recently. All recordings of mine are there to convert this file into a proper account, a proper file. Okay, proper videos are there. So that's why I'm not focusing much, but still, let me give you very quickly whoever till now did not watch the video. So let me Control C. Let's go here, Control V. So in this case, I'll remove always till the heading. As you all know, let me do Control minus. Just 1 second. Yeah, sorry. So let me delete till the heading. Now I want to join all these 6 items together equal to Joining, there are many functions. You can use concatenate. You can use the recent function called concat. You can even use a function called text join. Text join. But let me tell you, text join is the function available in 365. Concat is the function from 2019 version. Concatenate is the function available for the so many years. Okay, but very outdated function. Instead, you can even use an and symbol. And symbol is to join. This join with this, then join with this, then you can join with this, then you can join with this, then you can join with this. Enter, right? You can just copy. But you need to paste this everywhere in the first row. But how can you paste only in the first row? Because there are more than thousands of accounts are there. So what I'm doing in this case is I will filter this entire data. Let me identify the unique nature of the first row. Is there something unique in the every first row of the account? Yes. Account number heading is the unique. Now what I'll be doing, I'll just take this. Then if you see this symbol, this is unique. Okay, I'll just copy that. I'll go here. Let me put here. Okay, then if you observe, all the first rows got selected. So one second. Uh, mm, which data I'm taking? One second. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so let's go here. The pipe symbol, then space one, right? Yeah, enter. Only one account. Surprise. Oh, I kept the filter only for this. Control Shift End, right? Yeah, I filtered only very few data. That's why Control Shift End. Yeah, I'm also forgetting the Excel. Yeah, now you can take this symbol. The symbol you can find above the enter key, then space, then you can just put one, then use enter. See, all the accounts first row got highlighted. Now copy this, then you can just copy paste below. Then you copy this entire data, go here, control paste special values. Now I need to, now it is a proper data of all 35 columns one after other. But I need to do text column. Go to the text column, then you need not do manually because there's a delimited the pipe symbol. So let me go to the other, let me have this pipe symbol. Just click next and finish. Okay. So the problem with this data is the column numbers are also attached to this. If that is the case, you may not write a VLOOKUP function, you may not filter the dates and so on. But when you go here and start replacing four space, there may be a problem in some of the places. At the end also four may be there, space also there. If that is the case, it's going to be very difficult. So what I'll be doing for that case, you can select this column, go to the text to column, then you can go to the next, then you can go to next, sorry, go back, take the fixed width, then you can go to the next. I want to eliminate two columns, then go to the next, then don't enter, because once you enter this split into two columns, second column is having already values, it's going to give you a message that you want to override. Don't import this column, you click this, that means this column will not get imported, just click finish. Wow, everything got turned into the proper dates. For everything you can do the same. And Saran, I want to do the same again and again, it will take a lot of time. Don't worry, you do once, your system will do it automatically for you. Example, let me select this column. You can simply go to the view tab. You can go to macros. Many people think macros is difficult, but let me tell you, macros are very simple. So let me click the macros. Use a relative reference if you want. Then just go here, record the macro. Then you can just keep the macro name as delete first. Delete serial number. Okay, so you can put a shortcut for that. Control Shift. Let me use Q. Let me click OK. Now it's recording. What do you need to do? All the E text column, then go to the fixed width, then go to the next, then take two digits. Make sure that why? Because there may be a chance 10th serial number, 12th serial number is two digits. Then go to the next. Then I don't want to import this. Then click finish. Then once you click finish, then you just make sure that stop recording. Is there anything which I did extra? No. While doing the steps, before that I did record. Now Control Shift Q, done, my job is, then go here, Control Shift Q, my job is over. Just go here, Control Shift Q, my job is over. Then go here, Control Shift Q, my job is over. As simple as it, Control Shift Q, and so on. How simple it is. Okay, it's unexplored till now. Probably we might have not practiced. Once you start practicing, it is very simple. To give you macro also, I'm storing this as XLSM, so you can also go through the macro what I have given. Control Shift and Q is the shortcut. So this is CCTP analysis. Now you can just start looking into this file. There are so many columns are there this file, but the problem with these files is they don't input the data. Now based on this you can answer. Your answer can be, you can just filter the security. Okay, so let's go here. Insurance amount. There is no data. That means obviously you can comment that at many instances in the columns in the CCDP, insurance amount is not available. Security amount is available. Let us see why 0 is there. Maybe it's something without security related. You need to cross check. Collateral security, tangible, insurance irregular, whether it's a primary security and what is the valuation, and so on. Just go through this. Last credit. If you check it out, even last credit date may not be there. Why for all these accounts there's no last credit? Yeah, these are all of the questions we can at least start asking. Leave about whether they answer or not. When we start asking, at least we will get the knowledge. Okay. So other limit, credit rating is not at all there. In fact, if you look into the new LFAR, there's a question on the credit rating. Credit agency, no credit rating, credit. Okay, there must be a question, I'm sure. Oh, not this one. This is LFAR. Credit rating. Yeah. Has the branch classified the facility under the norm? Not this one. I think there's a question with respect to the credit rating. Credit agency, something like that. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. Whether correct and valid credit rating if available. Okay. Have you come across the? Okay. I think this is the one. Whether correct and valid credit rating if available of the credit facilities of the bank's borrower from RBI accredited agencies has been fed into the system. It is about whether they kept into the system or not if available. So when you found one credit rating is available from the RBI accredited, you can just go through the RBI accredited agencies, CRISIL, CARE. There are a couple of agencies which give the rating that has been fed into the system or not. So that we can easily verify by looking into this. In this case, out of 1,000 accounts, only one account, that is SV4, is the credit rating. Then you can ask what is the credit rating report and check it out whether it is from the RBI approved agency. Then for the remaining ones, if there is already any restriction with respect to the RBI related about its threshold credit rating is required, then you can verify. If not, you can just comment upon. Okay, so I think more or less we have covered the files and everything. Let me save this file. For your own practice purpose, I kept so many files here, the trial balance, SA1 and so on. Friends, one question asked by one participant, I said I'm going to cover maybe at the end. In fact, I am going to, because I am, as you all know, I'm releasing small videos for the last 2 to 3 days. Already I have released 2 videos. At least by next couple of days, I need to, my target is to release at least 10 to 15 videos by the end of the branch audit. Yesterday, I thought of releasing a video on the Supreme Court judgment. I was just going through different material about the proper interpretation just to see how many people commented upon. For my surprise, not recently, from the day one of the news, no newspaper or even the, I went into YouTube, so many videos I watched. At the very higher level, they said, but what is the actual impact? Was not there, but my observation, I'll tell you, if interpretation related, if you convince, that's fine. If not, you can take your own view. This is not to take any opinion. This is just to give you what is my opinion. Let me tell you the sequence of instances happened. In the month of on 27th March 2020, as you all know, we were into the pandemic period. Then RBI has, these are the series of events. Anyway, tomorrow I'm planning to make a short video on the entire Supreme Court related judgment with my opinion. Okay, but I'm just giving you the brief. 27th, there is an RBI said a 3 months moratorium is there. Okay, they need not to pay any interest. So 3 months moratorium is there. Then that is start from 1st March 2020. Then again, after 3 months means on 31st May, so March, April, May, 31st May 2020, they extended till another 3 months. So that is still 31st August 2020. This is 31st May, right? Yeah. 31st August 2020. So this 9 months is basically the moratorium period. Sorry, 6 months is the moratorium period. So it is basically the 6 months period. Then after this, then they started charging the interest on interest also, because till here they kept quiet, the bankers. Then they started charging interest on interest. Then one group of one association, they filed a complaint with the Supreme Court stating that please give us a relief on the interest waiver. Okay, interest on interest as well as interest waiver. Then Supreme Court said in its interim order dated 3rd September, said that they asked for the information, the union, the central government as well as RBI. They also said that all the NPAs status as on August 2020, all banks must maintain a status quo. That means they must not treat that as an NPA. In other way around, my interpretation, if any account ideally must become an NPA as on 31st August 2020, they should not take it as an NPA. Okay, that means ideal situation. That means there is no ideal situation means, let's say there is no moratorium. As if there is no moratorium, if any account becomes an NPA before 31st August, that must not become an NPA until the further order. Okay, that is what they said. My interpretation is, if an account is within this period of 6 months becomes NPA, then that you should not treat as an NPA as per the Supreme Court order. That's the first thing. Second thing is, let's say if an account, let's say one person did not opt for moratorium, on 1st September 2020, one account became NPA. Okay, 90 days are over. 90 days are over. Right? The biggest question is whether this is an NPA or not. But if you ask me, I may say, yes, this is an NPA. Why? Because this is not NPA as on 31st August. This is after 31st August NPA. If that is the case, this earlier order is applicable till 31st August 2020. Whatever the standard assets, please don't downgrade. That is what the things they mentioned. If that is the case, this becomes an NPA. Now, obviously, because of this reason, so many accounts are taken this as a route and banks did not show, and RBI said you have to show as a pro forma NPA, because anyway those all will become an NPA one day. If you don't start showing the same, then that will spur in one quarter the bigger amount. Then everyone started putting as a pro forma NPA, and even interest related also they kept into the, they parked the interest into a separate account just for their identification. In fact, today morning also I called one of the Union Bank AGM, so I have taken his view also on the same, but in fact I did not agree with his view. This is what they started accounting at the back end. Now what Supreme Court said, they have lifted this. That means as on 31st August, whatever the word they said, now they said that's not applicable. That means now what is your thing is, anyway the 6 months is not due, because the 6 months bank itself has given a moratorium. As if there is no 6 months period in our calendar, you just do your NPA. Okay, meaning let's say till 29th, this year is 28 days, right? Till 28th, let me take this situation. Okay, till 28th February 2020, 70, okay, 89 days are overdue, are out of order, are overdue, whatever it is, right? Now, 1st September 2020 also, one day overdue. If you ask me, this must become an NPA on 2nd September 2020 because 89th days it is overdue. When we calculate this, okay, 6 months, because anyway it's not a due because it has given a moratorium. Now 1st September 2020 again overdue. Now 2nd September they must take this as an NPA. But when I have spoken with Indian Bank AGM today, he did not convince with this. He said for all the accounts don't take it as an NPA. That's what the interim order they said. I said no. Interim order clearly mentioned till 31st August, whatever the standard accounts you mentioned, don't make it as an NPA until further order. Very simple. This is what my interpretation. So as an auditor, once you go into the bank audit, you need to skip that 6 months as if there is no calendar for that 6 months. Other than that, you do the normal calculation. If it is an NPA, it is straight away NPA. There's no doubt. This is my interpretation. Tomorrow I will come up with a very detailed video. That's what my plan is. Maybe if you have a different view, you can let me know. I think someone asked me about what is your take on the Supreme Court judgment. In fact, I started reading about so many newspapers on this matter since yesterday, but no newspaper, unfortunately, no YouTube video has given a very clarity stand on this. I started looking into the annual returns of RBI, SBI and Union Bank last quarter 3. They clearly mentioned, okay, because of this is pro forma NPV is this, normal NPV is this, and so on. But when it comes to how you need to consider while doing an audit, this is what my take. Anyway, this will be into YouTube. Many people may watch this. Okay, let them put in the comment box and we may have a discussion. Any question till here? Yeah. Now let me save this also. Okay, Supreme Court. I just made it not very clean. You may have, I don't think so, you will be having confusion, but this is at least for your understanding. Friends, any question? Any question, please let me know. So yeah, you can just start looking. These are the important financial comments, and I think I covered more or less. I said this is a very important text column. You filter the data, remove the junk data, and keep ready for the analysis. Friends, I also kept the raw data. You can just go through this data for your better analysis. Okay, so I think more or less what I thought of covering is over. If you have any question, maybe answer for 5 to 10 minutes, then we can go ahead with respect to the Excel mode. Anyone having any question? I'm done from my end. Are there anyone from Vijayawada branch? I did not find any comment on the Supreme Court judgment, surprisingly. I don't know whether you understood my point or not. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm planning to make a little as part of my short videos. This one also. Yesterday I didn't get time. Today completely occupied with other sessions also. So tomorrow I'll plan. Thank you so much, Sudhakar. Thank you. Any question, anyone? Is there anyone from Vijayawada branch?
Sir, we are here, sir.
Yeah.
Actually, no one is asking any questions because.
Yes, I am also looking into the chat box. Yeah, Supreme Court just reversed the judgment. You are absolutely right. They used the word lifted. So it's like a obstacle they kept there. Now they have just taken that obstacle, thrown out. As simple as it. That's all then. Thank you so much. Sir, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable time for spending and enriching our members' knowledge and to hit the bank audit and do the bank audit effectively and efficient manner. And you are always for our wishing faculty, first faculty also to providing services to the members fraternity. On behalf of Vijayawada branch, very heartfully thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure, sir.
And in this occasion, I want to say thanks to your guru. Actually, first he suggested immediately Sharan is the right person to take the session. And our all MC members also agreed immediately, sir. And you are also sharing your valuable time and spending with us for enriching our members' knowledge to do the efficient manner in the bank audit. And thank you very much, sir. I think
Thank
all
you,
the
sir.
members are enjoyed the session and learned more. This all the video is available in the YouTube. Members who are not able to spend their time to view this program, and they can view at any time, sir. And with this brief, I thankful to you on behalf of managing committee. I thankful to you, Saran sir.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure, sir.
And, as and when we feel your convenient time, then definitely we'll plan another workshops in further period, sir.
Sure, sir.
And thank you all the members who are spending your time to learning knowledge to our renowned speaker from. And thank you very much each and everyone participants. And
friends, in the YouTube, they'll be keeping the files also. Don't worry. In the YouTube below the video, they'll be. I think you'll be sharing the files also, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
In the YouTube, in the description, you can just watch in the YouTube. You can download the files there. If you missed any of the files here to download.
Okay, sir. Definitely, whatever the link you will provide, definitely will add to there itself.
Yeah.
Automatically, members who are watching the YouTube channel, they can able to download the work files also.
Yeah.
Thank you each and everyone. And we're saying sign off now.